Lam Chia completely loses his temper, slamming a book directly at them. He screams at them to stop making excuses and get out. Meanwhile, inside the Grand Council Hall, the academy directors gather. Although the Li Suyan branch won the challenge, some claim their teachers simply lack the proper teaching credentials. Chancellor Man Thon of Thuan Long High Academy states his position, telling Don Thuong Thon that since many of their teachers lack credentials, they expect a massive staff restructuring once he returns. Don Thuong Thon looks down. But right then, check this out, the heavy doors swing wide open. Lam Chio interrupts the council, asking them not to rush to conclusions. Seeing him, everyone immediately bows in deep respect. Grand Instructor Lam Chio. Chancellor Man Thon is completely shocked by his sudden arrival and tries to offer him a seat, but Lam Chio declines. Rejecting the offer, he leans in close to Chancellor Man Thon, whispering something that makes the Chancellor instantly freeze up in shock. Whatever secrets they just whispered, it completely changes the mind of Chancellor Man Thon as he suddenly prepares to announce a new decision. He reads the document aloud, officially declaring the final audit results for the Li Suyan Academy. For over 10 years, Li Suyan Academy has strictly followed all protocols without a single violation, maintaining an exceptional teaching system. With outstanding teachers, they are officially recognized today as the 142nd official branch of our Thuan Long Academy. Tan Sheng looks on in pure disbelief. How is this possible? Were we not just criticizing their teaching staff? Panicked, he desperately raises his hand to object, pointing out the issues from earlier. Chancellor Man Thon instantly cuts him off, declaring it a minor issue. They only need to send teachers to our Supreme Academy for advanced training annually. Tan Sung is stunned they even get advanced training. Heavy footsteps approach as a cold voice demands, "Are you Tan Sung?" The intense pressure makes the old man freeze. Trembling, he replies, "Yes, I am Tan Sheng. What are your instructions, Grand Instructor?" Lam Chio speaks up. That little competition you arranged between your branch and our Supreme Academy was quite an eye-opener. He angrily demands letting a top student like Kwang Van Kai face the outer branch is fine if he wins, but he lost miserably. Since when did the official audit of our Supreme Academy become your personal playground? Lam Chu snaps, roaring, "You think you can just do whatever you want? Appointing whoever you want, abusing your power for personal grudges?" Tan Sheng trembles violently, completely unable to find his words. He stammers, "How would I dare?" But Lam Chu turns away, coldly saying, "People like you do not deserve to be supervisor." He adds a final order, telling him to go find a job cleaning up the stables instead. Leaving the hall, Lam Chu heads straight to the My Lam Tea House, a quiet cottage nestled deep within the peaceful forest. Lam Chu speaks softly, "Don Lam, I sincerely apologize for the actions of my son, and I hope you will accept this small gift." Don Lam stares at the small box, completely stunned by his gesture. To ease the tension, Zhu Minglang quickly chimes in. The Grand Instructor is being genuinely sincere. If you refuse, he will carry this guilt forever. You do not want him to feel uncomfortable, right? Hearing this, Don Lam accepts without hesitation. She bows. "Grand Instructor, you are far too polite." Han Quan then suggests, "You have been working so hard for Li Suyan Academy that you probably have not seen our sights. Let me show you around our beautiful Supreme Academy." Don Lam happily agrees to leave together. As they walk away, Zhu Minglang takes one look and immediately sees right through the whole situation. Zhu Minglang asks if the High Instructor has something else to say to him. Lam Chia finally reveals the truth, explaining that they were only pursued by the absolute Sea Eagle Emperor because they had taken an ancient relic called the Sea Calming Bell from its territory. A powerful expert originally agreed to help them, but he was injured and needed rest, making Lam Chia worry they would arrive far too late. With a sincere plea, he asks if Zhu Minglang would be willing to step in and help them retrieve this ancient relic. Of course, they will make it worth his while. Whatever Zhu Minglang needs, he just has to name it, and they will do everything in their power to make it happen. Zhu Minglang gets straight to the point, saying that since the High Instructor is offering, he will not stand on ceremony. He states he needs a phoenix nest, and if they can provide it, he will help. Lam Chu responds that their treasure pavilion indeed holds an ancient phoenix nest collected many years ago. Conveniently, he has accumulated a few over the years and is willing to trade with him. Grateful for the deal, Zhu Minglang thanks the High Instructor. After bidding him farewell, he takes a quiet walk down a small path to clear his head. With nothing else to do, Zhu Minglang starts thinking about visiting the Spirit Beast Pavilion to find a decent baby spirit and raise it himself. Suddenly, a hand slaps onto his shoulder, and a voice asks what a coincidence. Where is he heading off to? Zhu Minglang calmly looks back at Tio Wiem, telling him he is heading to the Spirit Beast Pavilion to pick a baby beast to raise. Hearing this, Tio Wiem excitedly makes a proposal. He claims to be an expert and challenges his buddy to go do something way more exciting instead. Zhu Minglang watches a crowd of wealthy, fancy people heading inside while Tu Viem's eyes sparkle with excitement, proudly claiming that his buddy has nothing to worry about with him around. He promises to take him inside for a truly wild ride. Nghiem warns that a place like this can easily swallow the entire wealth of a nation, leaving even royalty completely broke. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang cannot help but laugh. Let us see how the other half lives, Zhu Minglang thinks, ready to finally experience the pure joy of being a rich kid. The moment they step inside, a booming voice echoes to thank all the esteemed guests, announcing that tonight they will get a rare chance to lay eyes on actual dragon eggs. The Queen of Hezi Kingdom, holding a small dragon in her arms, speaks up. She reveals that one of the eggs was recently retrieved from the abyss of Rift Demon Mountain, and it belongs to the Thunder Duke Dragon. Looking ahead, she adds that the Thunder Duke Dragon is a king dragon, but whether this egg contains a simple Thunder Jiao or a true pureblood remains a mystery. They have no way to judge it accurately, so everything will depend entirely on the guests' own sharp eyes. The Queen of Hezi Kingdom looks down at the crowd, inviting everyone to step up one by one to examine the egg before deciding to raise their entry bets. Next, she reaches into a basket, holds up a massive egg, and proudly presents their very first dragon egg of the night. This particular egg came from Xuansao Mountain, discovered by a passing dragon appraiser. As some of you know, certain dragons love to feast on nutritious beast eggs. Initially, this egg was sold at the exact same price as standard beast eggs. With a smile, the queen explains that after being evaluated by several masters, its chances of being a real dragon egg are incredibly high, gaining quite a reputation around White Cliff. However, they still have no way of knowing its exact species or whether its bloodline is high or low. Zhu Minglang and Nghiem listen closely as she gets ready to kick off the 5-round auction. For the first round, guests can only inspect it with the naked eye for 1 minute up close, starting at 5,000 gold. Nghiem hands his token to Kandu, turning to tell Zhu Minglang that this 5,000 gold bid is on him. Zhu Minglang strokes his chin, staring at the egg and wondering if anyone can actually see anything this way. Just as Kandu calmly announces that time is up, he gasps in disbelief, pointing out that 5,000 gold is gone just like that. But Kandu only flatly repeats that their time is up. She turns to Nghiem, asking if he wants to stay in, warning that the next bet is 20,000 gold, but he just smiles and tells her to match it. Zhu Minglang immediately pulls him aside, whispering that throwing away 25,000 gold like this is absolute madness. To him, this dragon egg looks incredibly ordinary, and since they are not allowed to use spiritual sense to scan it, looking at the surface tells them nothing. Nghiem just wiggles a finger, telling him that this is why he needs to learn the true art of dragon appraisal, an egg viewing technique. Zhu Minglang repeats with a completely baffled face, questioning if that is actually a real thing. Nghiem grins, adding that there is also an egg-touching technique for the later stages. Zhu Minglang just rolls his eyes and tells him to get to the point and share his actual thoughts. He stares at the egg as it begins radiating a soft, pale blue light, pointing out that while it looks completely normal, it is actually a highly unusual specimen. The outer shell looks thin because it has absorbed a massive amount of spiritual energy, and those chaotic, irregular patterns suggest the egg was nested in a highly unstable environment. Zhu Minglang crosses his arms, asking if that means they should proceed to the next round to test if the energy inside is concentrated. He replies seriously, that is right. They call it a spirit egg, so we should keep betting, since there is still a decent chance a spirit beast hatches. Xiaoyan quietly adds, and who knows, it might even turn into a dragon later, which matches even a dragon egg, plus dragon eggs only have a slightly higher rate of hatching a dragon than spirit eggs, while many just hatch common beasts. Completely convinced by this, Zhu Minglang immediately yells out, makes sense. He gives a quick thumbs up, and says that is exactly the thrill of dragon betting. But secretly, he laughs to himself, just remember you are paying that 20,000 gold entry fee yourself, while I only lose 5,000 gold max. Jingyu walks over to announce that the second round is starting, and get this, you can now use your spiritual sense to inspect the egg. Hearing this, he reaches out. Zhu Minglang closes his eyes, focusing his mind to feel the egg's energy. This egg actually contains spiritual bone, proving it was nurtured in a place overflowing with energy, and it can even absorb natural grace, so it seems worth a shot. She tilts her head right away to ask the call, this round is 100,000 gold. Will you match it? That is already 100,000 gold. Jingyu points her hand toward the side to explain young Master Han just raised the bet. He wants this egg, so he is raising the price to scare off any hesitant bidders. Looking at Zhu Minglang with a blush, she smiles softly and says, since it is your first visit, young master, let this humble girl cover this bet for you. Xiaoyan screams in absolute disbelief, why on earth would you do that? Jingyu recalls that past scene and replies gently, last autumn, I traveled to the Miao State. Your handsome face is highly sought after by the noble ladies of Miao State. They would happily spend hundreds of thousands just for a glance, so I find this completely worth it. He pulls out a mirror to check his face, crying out in despair, I quit. Why did my parents not give me a mesmerizingly handsome and fair face too? Standing beside him, Zhu Minglang smiles to comfort him, do not be sad. Genetics is just something you cannot force. Xiao Yan looks serious as he asks, but I did not expect young Master Han to bid. The next round will cost hundreds of thousands. I do not have that kind of money. Are you sure you want to keep playing? He turns his head toward him and replies, do not worry, think of it as a learning experience. Xiao Yan gives another thumbs up and laughs. That is the spirit. Since you want to play, I will be blunt. This spirit egg is either going to be completely worthless or insanely valuable. You see, not every living creature is actually able to absorb spiritual energy before they hatch. Some 1,000-year-old beasts die of old age without ever drawing in worldly energy. He calmly points out, I can see the spiritual bone forming between the membrane and the eggshell. Hearing this, he gasps in shock. How on earth can you see that? I do not see a thing. Is your cultivation level really that high? Don't tell me you have a dragon even stronger than a monarch-class Saint Dragon? Zhu Minglang chuckles and raises his hand. Stay humble. We must stay humble. Xiao Yan pulls out his mirror again, crying in despair. I am not as handsome, not as rich, and my cultivation is lower. Back when we were at Xuancao Mountain Fort, how did I even have the nerve to act cool around him? I am the real clown here. An old man leaning on a bamboo staff looks at the egg and advises young master. Although the target egg has reached this stage, we still cannot draw a final conclusion. Young Master Han hears this and asks, since this egg is wrapped in spiritual energy, perhaps its origin had a spirit spring eye rather than having absorbing power itself. So should we drop out? Opening one eye to look toward Zhu Minglang, he says if this creature can already absorb spiritual energy before even hatching, buying it for 200,000 gold is still highly worth it. So let us wait, and let others decide first. From behind him, he rubs his chin and stares intently at the egg sitting right in front of his face. Zhu Minglang glances at Xiao Yan beside him and asks, well? He raises his hand and says in a low voice, I can actually feel it drawing in spiritual energy. However, the pulse of this life force is not as strong as I expected, which shows it is not converting the spiritual energy into its own vitality. Xiao Yan frowns and laughs. It is just like a sick person eating premium tonics, but being unable to absorb any of the nutrients. Zhu Minglang lets out a dry laugh. Absorbing spiritual energy, but completely unable to convert it to boost its own power. What an incredibly shameful and bizarre little creature. He smiles slightly and adds, once it actually hatches, maybe it will be able to digest it. There is just no way to tell. Xiao Yan points in another direction and says, I suggest you back out now. Save your money to look at the Lei Gong dragon egg. With a perfectly calm face, he raises 5 fingers, bidding another 150,000 gold. Hearing this, he looks totally confused, tilting his head to stare at Zhu Minglang. Xiao Yan smiles slightly, patting his shoulder to advise, listen, brother, even if you are rich, you cannot just waste it like this. But watch how casually Zhu Minglang replies to his warning. As a wealthy man, what is a tiny sum like this? We are raising it. He frowns, staring at him with a face full of speechless disbelief. Right then, the Queen of Hezi claps her hands and calls out for everyone to quiet down. Smiling, she holds up 3 fingers and announces that only Master Trac bid in the 3rd round, spending 270,000 gold coins to win this dragon egg. With that, the queen points directly at the egg before them. She lifts the massive egg and says, we can break its hatching seal right this second, so let us see what happens. Staring at the stage in sheer disbelief, Theovium whispers, wait, did he actually just win it? Young Master Han struts right over with a smug grin, asking if Minlong was really the only fool to bid. He sneers that this beast egg definitely looked pretty mysterious at first glance. But if you look closer, it is just a common dragon egg, faked by some greedy, heartless merchant. Laughing in his face, Han mocks him for being a brainless idiot who actually fell for it. Minlong just scoffs, replying that at least he got the egg for his money. Meanwhile, Han spent a fortune just to stand there and talk trash while leaving empty-handed. Han just raises his hand and scoffs, saying that watching stupid people get ripped off is his absolute favorite game. It makes him feel fantastic, and he cannot wait to see the look on Minlong's face when this trash hatches. High up on the stage, the Queen of Hezi calls out to Master Trac. Pointing at the egg, she smiles and instructs him to drip his blood onto it to create an unbreakable soul bond before it hatches. Theovium quickly steps up and whispers a warning. This blood drop only binds your souls, so it does not count as a formal pact yet. It will not take up one of his pact slots. Nodding, Minlong cuts his finger and drips blood onto the shell. Everyone crowds closer as the ancient shell starts to crack open right before their eyes. Inside, a tiny, glowing firefly spirit gently opens its mouth. Seeing the little guy leap straight toward him, Minlong gasps in shock. It is an infant spirit. The crowd erupts in surprise, cooing at how cute it is and wondering what it could be. But there is no dragon core, meaning it is just a basic spirit. Seeing this, Han bursts into loud laughter, mocking him for spending nearly 30,000 gold coins on a useless ball of fluff. The Queen of Hezi steps forward with a warm smile, offering her congratulations to Minlong. She explains that this is a mystic spirit, a creature that brings great luck in the Hezi kingdom. Minlong gently strokes the fluffy little spirit, admitting he actually likes it quite a lot. But as he channels his energy into the creature, he cannot help but wonder what actual powers this spirit possesses. He stares intently at the little creature, deciding to test it with a bit more of his spiritual energy. The little spirit vacuums up the energy instantly, yet absolutely nothing seems to change. He tries to sense its aura but realizes something is totally off. The energy was absorbed by the fluffy outer layer but never entered its actual body. What a bizarre creature. Right then, Han sneers with absolute contempt. Pointing a finger, he yells out that if he were in Minlong's shoes, he would throw that plush toy on the ground and stomp it flat. Hearing its tiny bones crush under my boot would feel way better than staring at this trash and remembering all those wasted gold coins. Hearing this insult, the little spirit puffs up its cheeks and squeaks that it is not trash. Minlong gently pets the little guy to comfort it, telling it not to worry. He tells the spirit to ignore that idiot because he knows it is not trash. Han simply scoffs, but suddenly, Minlong's eyes widen as he stares down at the spirit in his hands. Now check this out, he feels an incredibly pure wave of spiritual energy radiating from it. Staring in complete shock, he realizes this little guy can do way more than just swallow up energy. It actually purifies and refines the energy before feeding an even purer version back to its master. Minlong stares at the spirit, laughing at his insane luck since this is basically a mobile energy well. He did not lose money, he hit the jackpot. Behind him, Theovium rubs his head sheepishly and apologizes, promising to make some cash soon to cover half the losses. Hearing that, Minlong turns around with a soft cough, telling his friend that there is no need because he genuinely loves this adorable little guy. Patting his shoulder, Theovium comforts him, saying it is totally okay to cry if he is sad. He offers to earn even more money, joking that wasting so much gold on a weak little fluffball would make anyone cry. With a friendly smile, Theovium points toward the exit and suggests they head outside together for a bit to get some fresh air. Minlong readily agrees to head out. Clutching the spirit in his palm, he decides it is the perfect chance to test its unique abilities. The scene shifts outside the manor. Holding his flask, Theovium watches Minlong from a distance, muttering that he never should have dragged him into such a wild gamble because the poor guy has lost his mind. Meanwhile, Minlong sits in quiet meditation, absorbing the highly purified energy radiating from his new companion. Once he finished, he opens his eyes and gently tells the little spirit to stop feeding him energy, saying it needs to keep that power for itself to grow big and strong. Hearing this, the little spirit closes its eyes and begins absorbing the pure power its master offers. Zhu Minglang gently strokes the little guy, smiling as he realizes it can absorb spiritual energy and even store it in its soft fur to share. He laughs, telling the creature that it is far too generous. Huang Ling snuggles against his chest and closes its eyes. Zhu Minglang looks down warmly, telling the tired little thing to sleep peacefully because he will protect it no matter what. Theovium walks over with a flask, telling his friend to cheer up and take a drink before they head to the best tavern in Manthon for moonlit drinks. Zhu Minglang scratches his cheek and smiles, insisting that he is completely fine. Suddenly, an angry roar startles them both, as a furious voice commands someone to stop right where they are. Young Master Han glares at an old man on the ground, yelling that his useless eyes belong on a cow farm, not a master's head. The bruised old man pleads with him to calm down, reminding the young master that he warned him to stop earlier. Theovium grins, calling the guy far unluckier than they are. Look at this total meltdown, he turns to the queen, wildly accusing her of playing dirty tricks. He yells that it was never a thunder dragon egg but a cheap wild serpent, accusing the dragon-bedding palace of scamming him. Squeezing the tiny creature tightly, he barks that they should take this useless beast back to brew some wine. He demands his money back, tossing the wild serpent right to her. The Queen of Hezi Kingdom glares coldly, stating that dragon betting always has risks, which young Master Han knew perfectly well. Her gaze turns sharp, commanding her guards to throw the screaming man out. He gets dragged away kicking and screaming, before the queen turns to Zhu Minglang, asking if he is leaving too. Zhu Minglang smiles, replying that he is satisfied with today's outcome. She looks at Huang Ling, hoping the fortunate beast brings him luck and that he takes good care of it. With those words, the queen gently pats Zhu Minglang on the shoulder. She hands the tiny wild serpent over, suggesting he release it once he leaves the palace to earn some good karma. Frowning slightly, he looks at her before smiling and accepting the small creature with a simple nod. Holding the wild serpent, he realizes the queen played her cards perfectly by acting compassionate while avoiding any actual responsibility. Poor little thing, abandoned right after birth. Sometime later, the gentle waves lap against the quiet riverbank. Theovium and Zhu Minglang stand silently, staring at the flowing water. His friend sighs about fate, wishing it had been a legendary thunder dragon which would have shaken the entire city. He looks at the wild serpent in his palm, calling it a waste. Seeing Zhu Minglang wash the creature with river water, Theovium asks what on earth he is doing. He panics, asking if Zhu Minglang actually plans to cook and eat it instead of setting it free. He immediately fires back, "No way. Zhu Minglang asks how long a newborn serpent could actually survive if left alone in the wild, leaving Nghiem rubbing his chin and murmuring about its fate. If it is lucky, it might barely survive. But otherwise, a predator will swallow it whole, bones and all. Zhu Minglang smiles, explaining that raising one baby spirit is the same as raising two, and releasing it now would just turn it into fish bait. Can you believe this guy? Nghiem gasps in pure shock, asking if he is seriously keeping another useless pet. He points out that this serpent has none of the spiritual charm of the other fluffball, deeply admiring his friend's endless free time. Back at his bamboo cottage, Zhu Minglang gently presses his finger against the tiny serpent's head to establish their bond. He lifts the little guy up with a smile, announcing that their souls are officially bound. He promises to protect it now if it works hard to grow, hoping it can defend him in the future. As the little serpent nods in agreement, he quietly feeds it. He explains that not every legendary beast starts off noble, reminding it that his other companions were once even weaker. Zai steps out from the shadows, calmly adding that as long as they never quit, they can evolve and find their place in this harsh world. But when asked about finding a proper purple dragon, Zhu Minglang just smiles, holding up his two little companions. He reasons that raising these baby spirits first is a good investment, pointing out that the serpent actually has a purplish tint. Zai inspects the faint purple scales, considering if this creature could actually qualify as a purple dragon. Closing his eyes, he agrees that raising several baby spirits is smart. He notes these two have great potential, and raising them from infancy will surely tame their wild nature. Feeling a spark of spiritual intellect, Zhu Minglang turns to him, asking why Mr. Singai is so dead set on having him contract with Zilong. Singai calmly raises his hand to explain. Between them lies the classic soul chain bond. They have abilities that can complement each other, unleashing massive power in battle. Looking dead serious, Singai softly explains that the Five Elements dragons are the absolute classic example of this bond. If a dragon master can gather the 5 elements dragons of gold, wood, and water, along with fire and earth, binding their own soul with all 5 elements, they can forge the legendary 5 elements crest. Stroking his chin, Zhu Minglang asks if Mr. Singai is emphasizing Zilong because its unique abilities fit perfectly with the other dragon types he currently has. Singai immediately raises his voice to tell him that is exactly it, explaining that the 5 elements crest acts like putting solid gold armor on all 5 dragons. Raising his voice, Singai quickly adds that besides the classic 5 elements bond, there are also powerful bloodline resonances and racial attribute reactions, which is why Zhu Minglang absolutely must obtain a Zilong. Basically, this soul contract easily pushes their power way past any normal limits. Hearing Singai constantly nag, Zhu Minglang helplessly mutters that he will do it next time. Down by the beach, a crowd gathers, spotting them flying in the sky and screaming that they are Bai Wu moths, and they are about to strike it rich. Pointing up, they yell that the moths are all theirs. Command your beast to capture those moths, damn it. They scream not to steal their Bai Wu moths, calling for backup. Zhu Minglang holds his umbrella, watching in confusion and wondering if they are really just ordinary moths. Why risk their lives fighting over them? Hearing him, Singai explains that these Bai Wu moths are actually highly unique nocturnal spirits of the Nihai, whose wings absorb pure moon glow under the night sky to grow a special flower-like pistil on their tails. Because of that, catching just one of these moths is like finding a whole moon nectar pistil. And since Xiao Baiqi desperately needs this moon energy, Zhu Minglang instantly goes wild with excitement. Since they are this valuable, he is definitely going to start snatching some up. Zhu Minglang hears Yingling let out a sudden cry, asking what is wrong, but seeing the little guy immediately bolt toward the area, he excitedly yells for him to slow down. Chasing from behind, he screams for Zhu Minglang to wait up. He asks if leaving an old man out in this heavy rainstorm is even remotely acceptable. Looking out toward the gate, Singai points out that the spiritual energy here is incredibly dense, meaning there might be a spiritual pool hidden inside. Zhu Minglang peers out through the entrance, finding it extremely bizarre that a valuable spot like this has literally no guards protecting it from intruders. Watching Yingling leap straight into the woods ahead, Zhu Minglang asks in confusion where the little guy is heading off to. With eyes sparkling, the little guy looks ahead in joy. Zhu Minglang spots the lake, excitedly yelling that Mr. Singai was completely right about a spiritual pool being hidden here. Frowning slightly, Zhu Minglang grumbles, it is a shame he already has a spiritual spring domain, pushing his cultivation speed over 100 times faster than average, making this pool pretty useless. Singai reminds him that while it does absolutely nothing for him, it is a completely different story for that little guy. Yingling happily plunges in, suddenly floating up in midair to suck dry all the pool's raw spiritual energy. Zhu Minglang watches in sheer panic, shouting to ask if the little guy is seriously going to drain this entire pool dry. Sure enough, Yingling rapidly vacuums up every drop of spiritual energy around them. Look at his face, absolute disbelief, as he realizes the little glutton actually drank the whole thing. Finished with his meal, Yingling looks up at Zhu Minglang, who can only stare at the dry crater with a tiny puddle left, he wonders if this massive reserve of spiritual energy could actually push a 9,000-year demon spirit straight into the legendary 10,000-year sacred spirit tier. Seeing Eye turns to ask if Zhu Minglang has the money to compensate for ruining a whole spiritual pool. Turning around, Zhu Minglang panicked, saying he cannot pay. Shocked by that, Seeing Eye instantly yells at him to stop standing around and run while nobody is looking. Zhu Minglang bolts, agreeing that once they realize the situation is bad, escaping is the only option. Gasping at this, Seeing Eye screams for him to wait, telling him to wait and let him climb on his back first. After some time, the group makes it back to the beach. The crowd is still desperately searching for moths. Meanwhile, Qingzhuo spreads his wings, using green vines to wrap up a massive swarm of Baiwu moths. Looking up, Zhu Minglang notes that since nobody has come to question them yet, the disaster they caused at the sacred pool must still be a secret. But suddenly, he realizes the rain stopped. The crowd watches the swarm rise, shouting in absolute shock about why the moths are heading skyward just as the storm stops. Swarming together, the moths form a massive swirling vortex. Jaw dropped, the crowd can only scream out, wondering if this crazy sight could actually be what they think. Staring up at the sky, they spot a pair of massive eyes and scream out in terror, White Phoenix. They can only watch in absolute shock as the giant White Phoenix looms high above them. Zhu Minglang stares wide-eyed, completely stunned that such a massive and powerful creature could actually exist. Watching them fly straight toward the White Phoenix, he mutters to himself, "It looks like the giant beast is protecting those white shaman moths as they pass through this heavy storm." He frowns slightly, realizing that what he once thought was huge is just the tip of the iceberg. You really never know what this world is hiding. Looking down at Huang Ling tucked inside his coat, he smiles and thinks, "All right then, now I will take you to a safe place to stay for a while." Arriving at Duanlan's place, Zhu Minglang walks up and shouts out, "Miss Duanlan, are you home?" Currently washing up, she turns around and wonders to herself, is that Zhu Minglang? Seeing Huang Ling and Da Zhao suddenly dash forward, he quickly chases after them, yelling, "You two, get back here, do not run around." Still dripping wet, Duanlan opens the door to step out. Zhu Minglang lunges forward to grab both of them and shouts, "Gotcha, let's see where you run now." Her face turns completely red, and she calls out in confusion, "Zhu Minglang?" Looking up with a sudden nosebleed, he stammers out that these two little guys are being way too mischievous and he is just catching them. Duanlan dries her hair with a towel, asking why he came to find her. Holding both Huang Ling and Dan Zhao in his arms, Zhu Minglang introduces them. "Miss Duanlan, these two are my new spirit beasts. I have to go away for a few days, so I wanted to ask you to look after them." She looks down at them and promises to take good care of them, so he does not have to worry. Hearing this, Huang Ling immediately dives right into her arms. Zhu Minglang flashes a double thumbs up and shouts happily, "I will be back in a few days. Miss Duanlan is going to take great care of you. While I am gone, do not slack off and make sure to train hard." She cradles them in her arms, quietly watching him walk away. Over at the Nghei Coral Island, a massive dragon carries the group toward their destination. Stepping down from the dragon, Han Quan explains that a very bizarre species of tree grows all over this cursed island. Once they absorb the sunlight, their leaves release a strange, overwhelming scent that blankets the entire place, making it almost impossible to breathe. She looks over at Zhu Minglang, adding that only the native creatures who have lived here for ages are immune to its effects. Outsiders can barely last a single hour here. Holding up a bracelet, Lam Chio explains that these special herb beads can help neutralize that bizarre scent. If these herb beads run out, we will have no choice but to leave immediately. He urgently urges the group to move quickly, warning them that time is running out. Vertuan chimes in, explaining that resisting this toxic fragrance has nothing to do with cultivation levels. If they get stuck, they will suffocate to death. Zhu Minglang stares thoughtfully at the bracelet. Besides this toxic air, there are probably other hidden dangers lurking around. Finding the sea calming bell is definitely not going to be easy. Leading the way, Lam Chio calls out that the legendary bell hangs from a demon copper tree deep inside this strange forest. Following closely behind, Zhu Minglang asks in curiosity if it is truly an ancient relic. Then it should be connected to the ancestors, so why would it end up lost in the forest of a ruined demon island? Lam Chio looks back and replies that he does not know the exact details, but the strange fragrance emitted by this island seems directly linked to the sea calming bell itself. Zhu Minglang's face instantly darkens with concern. "Look at that," Lam Chio suddenly points up to the sky and screams in panic. "That is the absolute sea eagle emperor." Vertuan also screams in terror. "Our herb beads are almost completely used up. We cannot afford to waste any more time fighting it." He yells out in panic, "We must drive the absolute sea eagle emperor away immediately." Vertuan quickly agrees with him. If Zhu Minglang goes to chase the absolute sea eagle emperor away, it will definitely realize it is a decoy tactic. After all, we had some run-ins with it before, so the absolute sea eagle emperor remembers us quite well. Vertuan turns to Zhu Minglang, suggesting that they distract the beast so he can slip into the demon forest for the sea calming bell. Hearing the plan, Zhu Minglang nods and agrees. Lam Xiao looks back and warns him to be extremely careful, as they never managed to get close to the demon copper tree last time, meaning any danger could be waiting. Of course, this critical mission is probably something only you can pull off. Since your Thean Sat dragon wields the mighty power of the Dragon King, those trivial dangers should be nothing to it. Zhu Minglang steps forward, surrounded by a vibrant green glow as he silently reflects on his next move. Thankfully, the holy light of Thanh Trac can purify the demonic spirits in this area. Zhu Minglang glances at the blinding purple light nearby, lost in deep thought. However, this light cannot neutralize the bizarre scent of these trees. Otherwise, he would have been able to explore this place with absolute ease. Looking up at the colossal tree right in front of him, he wonders, is this the demon copper tree? Observing the glowing green bells on the branches, he wonders if the so-called sea calming bell is actually the millennium fruit of this demon copper tree. He frowns and quickly dismisses the idea, knowing that such a precious treasure would definitely be guarded by some terrifying beast. Yet, the area around this demon copper tree is dead silent, without even a single bird chirping. Strange things always have a catch. He needs to secure an escape route. Covering his mouth, Zhu Minglang coughs and asks, "Dragon King, I found a rare delicacy. Want a bite?" Thean Sat immediately snaps his eyes open and growls, "Kid, if you want me out to give you courage, just say so. Do not try to trick me." Seeing the dragon emerge, he laughs. "You have been in that domain for so long. Time to stretch those lazy bones." Zhu Minglang looks at Thean Sat with a teasing grin. "Are you sure you can eat this?" The dragon snorts. "It is just a piece of fruit, is it not? Can this dragon not even handle a snack?" With that, Thean Sat opens his jaws wide and bites down hard on one of them. The moment he bites, he recoils with a furious roar. "Kid, you set me up. This is literally steel. It tastes awful." Zhu Minglang picks up a broken piece, thoroughly confused. It feels exactly like a real bronze bell. But out of all these, which one is the true sea-calming spirit? Just then, his gaze locks onto two glowing, tri-colored fruits nearby. Zhu Minglang walks closer, staring at them in deep thought. These two are clearly different from the rest. With an aura exceeding 1,000 years, this has to be the sea-calming bell the Grand Preceptor wanted. With the sea-calming bell right here, there are definitely powerful beasts guarding the surrounding area. There might even be some forbidden taboos on this thing, so he cannot be careless. He immediately reaches out, grabs the fruit, and plucks it. He plucks it effortlessly, completely stunned. "You have got to be kidding me. Is it actually that simple?" Holding the two sea-calming bells, he chuckles. He was fully prepared for a massive boss fight, but now he can go meet up with the Grand Preceptor. Up on the forest-covered mountaintop, Zhu Minglang spots Han Quan and quickly asks her, "Where is the Grand Preceptor?" She explains the Grand Preceptor lured the Emperor Sea Eagle away so we could help you escape the island first. He holds up one of the freshly plucked fruits. "Is this it?" Han Quan grabs it, her face lighting up as she cheers. "Yes, it has 3 colors. The perfect sea-calming bell." Virtuan offers a warm smile that took quite a while. "It must not have been easy, right? After all, those demon copper bell trees are usually guarded by some pretty nasty beasts." Zhu Minglang scratches his head, playing along. "Yeah, those monsters were pretty tough. I had to go through absolute hell to get them." Deep down, he knows if he tells them it was a breeze, they will think hiring him was a total ripoff, especially since he broke their priceless phoenix nest earlier. Right at that moment, the Emperor Sea Eagle lets out a piercing shriek and dives straight toward the dense forest below. And just like that, the piece shatters. The group covers their ears as the Emperor Sea Eagle screeches, returning for blood. Swooping down, the giant bird aims its razor-sharp claws right at them. He screams in terror, "Sovereign Dragon, get out here!" Thean Sat immediately unleashes a blinding beam of blue energy, roaring, "You noisy pest! Shut your beak in front of this Dragon King." Tilting its body to dodge the blast, the eagle screeches in shock, "A Dragon King?" The two colossal beasts lock eyes, staring intensely at one another. Zhu Minglang turns to Virtuan, panic in his voice. "The Emperor Sea Eagle is here, but what happened to the Grand Preceptor?" He responds grimly, "The beast must have realized we took the sea-calming bell and rushed back to slaughter us. The Grand Preceptor probably could not keep up with it." Virtuan looks back, shouting, "Whatever happens, we need to get out of here right now. Our teleportation beads are about to dry up." Zhu Minglang urges them, "You guys head off the island first, I will cover the rear." Han Quan nods quickly, warning him, "All right, just do not fight the Emperor Sea Eagle for too long. This is its territory, and killing it is going to be incredibly difficult." Zhu Minglang looks around, frowning strange. Why does something feel off? Looking up, he watches the eagle and Thean Sat clashing in the sky, until the giant bird is violently slammed into the ground. The Emperor Sea Eagle struggles to its feet, screeching, "So what if you are a Dragon King? I am no pushover." Zhu Minglang watches in absolute awe. His dragon is literally draining the Emperor Sea Eagle of its blood mid-battle. That is my Dragon King, absolutely legendary. The giant bird flaps its wings, trying to push itself off the dirt. But Thiensot blasts 2 beams of blue energy directly at the eagle's head, knocking it back down as fresh blood splatters everywhere. The eagle unleashes a desperate sonic attack. Annoyed, the dragon roars back, "Are you ever going to shut up, you featherbrain?" He brings a massive claw smashing down on its skull. The eagle coughs up a puddle of blood and collapses backward. Still furious, the dragon stomps down heavily on its leg to finish it off. Zhu Minglang gasps, noticing something alarming. Wait, despite taking so many fatal hits, this eagle still has plenty of energy left. On the other hand, Thiensot is the one running out of steam. Zhu Minglang smacks his forehead. Oh right, how could I forget about that? A strange, toxic scent. Turning to his beast, he quickly warns him that this giant sea eagle is stalling them on the demon island, just so the strange scent can suppress and drain his overall power. Riding on Thiensot's back, Zhu Minglang yells out that they cannot stay and fight here, urging him to leave. Instantly, the massive beast carries him straight up into the sky, escaping the island. Peering into the distance, Zhu Minglang stands high on top of Thiensot's head. So Tuyet Haiyong Huang only dared to fight Thiensot because of the island's strange fragrance. He glares at the island and shouts, "I will spare your miserable bird life just this once." Thiensot suddenly looks down, letting out a sharp warning, "Look down there." Spotting a figure beneath the water, Zhu Minglang gasps in shock. He immediately leaps down to Lam Cho, screaming, "Grand Instructor!" The old man looks up at Zhu Minglang and gasps out, "Zhu Minglang, watch out!" Lam Shu shoves a knife box into his hands, stammering, "This is the Hoang Oa, run now." With a final wave, he pushes the boy away. Heartbroken, Zhu Minglang screams out, "Grand Instructor." But Thiensot quickly scans the area, warning that someone is watching them. Hearing this, he instantly realizes they aren't the only ones targeting the Tranhai Lin. Now, watch this. Zhu Minglang instantly realizes whoever killed the Grand Instructor must be an incredibly dangerous enemy. This is bad. Han Quan and Lu Vientuan might still be on the island. He leaps onto Thiensot, urging him, "Go, we must return to Devil Island." Moments pass. Finally, his feet touch down on the island. Zhu Minglang turns to Thiensot, advising him to stay in the air because the strange fragrance suppresses his power guard against Tuyet Haiyong Huang. It is extremely cunning. But the dragon scoffed, "Who's afraid of that bird? This Dragon King can crush it with a single hand." He freezes. A frantic voice suddenly yells from the shadows, "Zhu Minglang!" Lu Vientuan stumbles forward, panting heavily as he yells, "He is dead, the Grand Instructor is dead." Zhu Minglang feigns confusion, asking what on earth happened. A sudden realization flashes inside Zhu Minglang's mind. How could Lu Vientuan possibly know about the Grand Instructor's death already? Did he also leave the island and come back? And what about Han Quan? Did she leave too? He screams in total fury, "It was Han Quan. She sold out the Grand Instructor. Absolutely no fourth person ever knew our path to this Devil Island. Those Han family members have always been endlessly, shamelessly greedy. It must have been Han Quan who betrayed him." Zhu Minglang pretends to be puzzled, asking then, "Where is the Tranhai Lin?" Lu Vientuan just sighs heavily. "She took it," he complains. "So I fled back here. But a masked assassin cornered me and kept breathing down my neck. He wouldn't stop chasing me. If you and Thiensot hadn't returned and scared him away, I would probably be dead by now." Zhu Minglang groans, acting completely defeated. "Too bad my dragon was injured fighting Tuyet Haiyong Huang, and that strange fragrance completely suppressed his strength. He is totally out of commission now. Without Thiensot, I am just an ordinary guy who cannot do a single thing." Placing a hand on the boy's shoulder, Lu Vientuan gasps out, "Well then, I guess I'll have to handle this myself." Zhu Minglang nods along, saying, "Exactly. Let's find a hiding spot first. It is probably going to be almost impossible to escape this Devil Island right now." Lu Vientuan suddenly pulls out a card and yells, "Great. Let me summon my own dragon to protect us then." You can see the betrayal in his eyes as he orders Da Quan Hong Long to lunge at Zhu Minglang with sharp claws. Diving forward, Zhu Minglang barely dodges the deadly strike and yells, "Lu Vientuan, what the hell are you doing?" His face twisting with dark malice. Lu Vientuan sneers, "You should not have meddled in this. Once you are dead, everyone will assume the Grand Instructor met a tragic end." Zhu Minglang narrows his eyes in cold fury. He demands, "So you are the real traitor who sold out the Grand Instructor?" Lu Vientuan just chuckles. He mocks, "You really are an absolute idiot. How did someone like you even reach the king rank?" Da Quan Hong Long, rip him to shreds. Zhu Minglang just smiles, letting out a cold snort as a massive streak of purple lightning rips down from the clouds. The bolt blasts directly into the red dragon's head, leaving the beast bleeding heavily from its face. Shaken by the backlash, Lu Vientuan spits out a mouthful of blood and falls to his knees, stammering, "But your dragon was supposed to be out of commission." Zhu Minglang smiles down at him, "And that is exactly why you could never reach my rank." Lu Vientuan, "I did not believe a single word you said, yet you fell for my trap completely." Looking down on the traitor, Zhu Minglang tells him at first, I was still wondering if you or Han Quan was the mole, but you just could not wait to stab me in the back. Terrified, Lu Vientian begs, please, spare my life, Zhu Minglang. He stops. Zhu Minglang senses a sharp presence and quickly turns his gaze toward the shadows. Staring intently, he grabs Lu Vientian by the hair and demands who is hiding out there right now. Trembling, the traitor quickly squeals that is Nghiem Trin, the leader of the Nghiem clan, one of the 9 great families of Nghai Institute. Driven by pure, selfish greed, he went ahead and slaughtered every single cursed shaman on this island. This makes the shamanic poison tide run completely wild, bringing endless plagues. Zhu Minglang grabs him and slams him hard to the dirt, shouting out, is Han Quan still alive? The terrified inspector immediately answers that she jumped straight into the absolute Sea Eagle Emperor's territory. Maybe his gaze is just too full of deadly intent as he glares at the man. Right then, a massive bolt of lightning blasts straight down from the heavens. Zhu Minglang frowns, leaving the smoking inspector behind, and muttering she will easily outlive a worm like you. Slowly, the thick gray mist clears away to reveal 2 familiar faces. It is Nghiem Trin, head of the powerful Nghiem clan of the 9 Great Seas, alongside Nghiem too. Standing proudly atop a massive dragon, the son of Nghiem Trin looks down and sneers. Who knew they actually brought a master strong enough to match the absolute Sea Eagle Emperor? That fat jerk Lu completely failed to warn us about this. His father immediately reassures him, do not worry, we just wait out here, there is no need for us to fight. The absolute Sea Eagle Emperor will finish him off anyway. Nghiem Tur grips the sea-suppressing bell, asking unsurely, father, can this bell really control the toxic poison tide? Nghiem Trin nods with total confidence. Of course, once we hold this power, every nation along the shores of the Great Sea must bow to our Nghiem clan. Every king and queen will have to kneel at our feet. Meanwhile, Zhu Minglang treks across the muddy, dangerous swamp, pressing forward. Staring into the gloom, he realizes he has entered the absolute Sea Eagle Emperor's hunting grounds. Let's hope Han Quan is still breathing. Suddenly, a screech echoes through the air, forcing Zhu Minglang to spin around. High above, a massive shape is circling the sky. Zhu Minglang spots her dangling from the beast's deadly talons and screams out her name, Han Quan. The monster snaps its massive beak, diving straight for him. Zhu Minglang leaps back just in time. Crap, this bird has already healed up completely. Worse, the Insat dragon is suppressed by that strange scent and cannot fight yet. Left with no choice, Zhu Minglang dashes toward a nearby cliff. The giant eagle swipes its massive talons down. Zhu Minglang throws himself over the edge, narrowly dodging the lethal strike. Free falling through the air, Zhu Minglang yells out for Insat dragon. The dragon materializes, wrapping his heavy tail around him to break the fall. The dragon grumbles, kid, just how many times are you going to summon this great king today? Zhu Minglang grins, could you be a bit gentler and let me ride on your back? Insat dragon snaps back, annoyed your skills are trash, yet you ask for so much. High above, the eagle suddenly drops Han Quan. Zhu Minglang dashes forward, screaming in panic, oh no, we have to save Han Quan. He lunges forward, reaching out to catch her, but she plummets far out of his reach. In absolute panic, Zhu Minglang screams out, holy crap. But look at this, a lucky branch catches her, leaving the dragon utterly speechless. He wipes the cold sweat from his face, muttering thank goodness. But seriously, why is there a convenient branch here? This feels like total déjà vu. Zhu Minglang rushes forward and points at their foe, yelling Insat dragon, teach this oversized chicken a real lesson. The dragon scowls, roaring, do not order me around. Even so, Insat dragon opens his jaws and blasts a blinding beam of light at the eagle above. Dodging the blast, the angry eagle emperor screeches back, this is my domain, you oversized lizard. Down below, the raging river swirls as massive golden tornadoes rise up to surround the dragon. Insat dragon just charges up another bright blue energy blast, roaring out like I care what you are. Taste my legendary dragon breath. But suddenly, he freezes in shock as only a pathetic little spark sputters out of his mouth. Zhu Minglang stares in disbelief, screaming, are you serious? That is it? Where is your pride as the mighty Insat dragon king? Hovering in midair, the eagle laughs. So what if you are a dragon king? You are completely powerless here. With a mighty flap of its wings, the eagle dives, landing right on top of Insat dragon's head and screeching, I have never tasted dragon meat. I guess today is my lucky day to feast. Glancing back, the dragon lets out a low growl, and the horn on his head suddenly crackles with bright purple lightning. Massive electric currents surge forward, blasting straight through the eagle's body. The dragon smirks, the only one dying today is you. Seizing the moment, Insat dragon spins around and unleashes a devastating, full-power blast of dragon breath. The giant beast plummets from the sky, shrieking in agonizing pain. How could this happen? Seeing the eagle try to flee, the dragon roars, you think you can run after making me play weak for so long? He charges his lightning again. Nobody messes with the Dragon King. A massive beam of blue energy streaks across the sky, hitting the fleeing eagle with pinpoint accuracy. Watching from below, Zhu Minglang mutters, "Man, he is scary when he is mad. Looks like Thean Sat Dragon is completely done playing." Stepping down into the ravine, he holds out his palm, conjuring a soft, glowing yellow orb, healing the defeated eagle. Zhu Minglang stares at the prize and grins a 25,000-year-old soul orb. "We are absolutely rich." Glancing at the dripping blood on Thean Sat Dragon, he asks, "This Holy Spirit blood seems pretty useful for you, right?" The dragon just snorts, "It is barely average." Zhu Minglang chuckles, raising a finger as he replies, "See, I told you, if you just show your real strength from the start, the beast will instantly back down and flee before you even have to break a sweat. So I had to act weak first, just to make it lower its guard, then finish it with one strike," Thean Sat says, glancing away. "Humans are pretty cunning. But of course, it was mostly thanks to this dragon's brilliant acting performance." Pointing to his head, Zhu Minglang fires back. "What do you mean cunning? This is called actual brains. Sure, you are not stupid. But you still have to learn things like tactics and mind games. Just having Dragon King cultivation does not make you invincible. Look at that Sea Eagle King. It clearly was no match for you, yet managed to circle you for so long." He rubs his chin, muttering. He feels like something incredibly important is missing, but he just cannot recall it. Thean Sat calmly asks about the woman hanging from the tree, making Zhu Minglang grab his head and scream. "Oh right, Han Quan." Nearby, the hair wrapping her to the tree branches slowly loosens, and she immediately falls straight down. Zhu Minglang immediately leaps to catch her. "Got her." Checking her breathing, he sighs in relief that she is still alive. Thean Sat calmly says, "I am at your service today. Just tell me what you want to do." Hearing that, Zhu Minglang tells him to head down and find a way off the island. Inside a cave by the stream, he stares at the roasting Sea Eagle King while rubbing his chin. "Luckily, I got quite a few herbal beads from Luvian Shuyen. Otherwise I would have surely died here." Frowning in deep thought, Zhu Minglang knows they must find a way out fast. He wonders where that bastard Nghiem Trin has run off to. If he blocks the port, we do not have many herbal beads left, making it easy to get trapped and die here. Now check this out. He traces the smoke, analyzing that if it is coming from inside, there must be another way out. Following the smoke, Zhu Minglang finds a massive pool and notes that this is an underground aquifer. Tasting the water, he realizes it is seawater. If they follow this underground current, it will definitely lead them straight out to the open sea. Zhu Minglang walks over and taps her shoulder to call out to Instructor Han Quan. She turns around, asking where they are, while he gloomily waves to greet her. Han Quan immediately panics and swings her hand to strike him, but Zhu Minglang catches her wrist, telling her to relax because it is just him. "I already killed the Sea Eagle King, so it can never threaten you again." Looking at her, Zhu Minglang explains that some people are watching them from outside, so they need to make their escape right now under the cover of darkness. Confused, she questions him, asking how Zhu Minglang killed the Sea Eagle King, and how they even ended up on this demonic island. He looks at her, saying now is not the time for questions, and asks if she has a dragon that can dive underwater. Han Quan nods in confusion, saying she does, then asks what Zhu Minglang plans to do, to which he raises a finger and says they will follow the current. Deep beneath the sea of Inga, the dragonified siren leads both Zhu Minglang and Han Quan forward, confirming this passage goes straight to the bottom of the Inghai High Sea, prompting him to marvel at how rare these dragon shifters really are. Lowering her head, she explains that the sea sirens are actually a very kind-hearted race. Yet, the powerful clans of Inghai always treat them like a plague, spreading lies that they sink massive warships, summon catastrophic tsunamis, and lure unsuspecting men into dangerous underwater currents to drown. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang cries out, "Those poor little dragon spirits, forced to endure such awful prejudice." With a somber look, Han Quan explains that it is far worse than prejudice. They were completely slaughtered because of their rarity, just like the innocents on Vu Island, leaving him frowning in realization. "By the way, was it Nghiem Trin who killed Chief Instructor Lam Chue?" he asks, as she turns back to answer. Lu Vian Zhuyen and Nghiem Trin conspired together, stealing the sea calming bell and brutally murdering the Chief Instructor. "We absolutely cannot let Nghiem Trin keep the sea calming bell, because if he controls the toxic tides, it will bring absolute ruin to the entire Ingi High." But get this, a warm green light glows in his palm as Zhu Minglang promises her that the disaster will never happen. Shocked, Han Quan asks if he has a plan, and he pulls out another sea calming bell, revealing that he has a spare one right here. Scratching his head with a sheepish grin, Zhu Minglang admits, "Actually, there were 2 sea calming bells on the magic tree, and since you guys only wanted one, I kept the second one for myself." He silently tells himself that sharing the spoils fairly is a key virtue of being a responsible adult. Hearing this, Han Quan excitedly lunges forward to hug him tightly, crying out that with this, Nghiem Trin cannot freely manipulate the toxic tides anymore. He immediately gasps, Please let me go first because I can barely even breathe. Blushing red, she quickly releases Zhu Minglang and looks away in total embarrassment. Looking up, Han Quan asks if Zhu Minglang can lend her the sea-calming bell to deal with Nghiem Trin. She promises to return it the moment everything is over, and hearing this, he immediately agrees. Take it and use it, he says. A ruthless monster like Nghiem Trin absolutely cannot be allowed to run free. With that, the two continue moving forward inside the protective barrier of the dragonified siren. Looking at the shoreline ahead, she yells out that they are finally free. She tells Master Zhu Minglang to rest easy at the Dragon Tamer Academy, while she takes proper care of that whole mess with Nghiem Trin. Zhu Minglang turns back to her and offers his help, telling her to just look him up if she ever needs anything. Back at his quiet quarters in the Morklong Academy, everything is completely silent, with not a single soul in sight. Staring at the yellow flower inside the box, he finds it strange that this Hoang Oa does not seem to have any special traits. If anything, it just carries a faint aura of some ancient disease. That is when He Ya starts stirring restlessly inside his pet space. Holding up the vial, Zhu Minglang asks the creature if he actually wants this Hoang Oa flower. Fine by him, since the attributes do not match Bai Qi or Makta anyway, so he decides to let He Ya have it. Uncorking the vial, he drinks the liquid down in one gulp and closes his eyes to quickly start absorbing the energy of the Hoang Oa. Opening his eyes, he immediately begins channeling all of that raw yellow energy straight into He Ya. He tells the beast that he has fed him everything, so he just needs to hold on a few more days to finally break free. Meanwhile, lightning crackles across the stormy sky as Nghiem Tur clings to his dragon's back and desperately shouts to his father. He begs to finally go home because he cannot take eating those awful wild berries that keep giving him terrible diarrhea day after day. Nghiem Trin turns around and coldly replies that he already sent searchers onto the island to make absolutely sure those targets are dead. With a pale and exhausted face, Nghiem Tur groans that the targets are definitely dead by now. He argues that the toxic stench on that demon island is enough to choke anyone, and monsters have likely picked their bones clean already. Raising his hand, the father strictly lectures his son that ruthlessness alone is never enough to survive. True power requires meticulous planning because you must always pull out every single threat by its very roots. That cautious mindset kept him alive through decades of constant bloodshed in Nghei, warning his son never to underestimate even the smallest foe. Suddenly, a dragon rider approaches them from behind. The scout reports that Han Quan has returned to Marnthine to expose the slaughter of the villagers, and he apparently brought back solid proof. Nghiem Trin whips his head around in absolute shock and demands to know what he just said. Seeing his father cough up a mouthful of blood and collapse, Nghiem Tur screams out for him to stay calm. Meanwhile, Zhu Minglang sits on a rocky ledge, watching Huang Ling happily release massive waves of pure spiritual energy that begin spreading rapidly all over the area. Looking closely at the little creature, Zhu Minglang realizes that having Huang Ling around is an incredible blessing. His spiritual spring's energy is much purer now, and its production speed has multiplied by 140 times. He looks up to see Thanh Trac soaring high above. Following the strict training plan he designed, his current training plan is to make Thanh Trac hover completely motionless like a kite in the freezing mountain wind, which will dramatically toughen the resilience of its wings over time. Turning to check on the little companion resting right beside him, he expects its physical strength and stamina to improve significantly after all this rigorous training is finally over. Everything is heading in a positive direction, but closing his eyes, he cannot help but wonder how Li Yunzi Ngir and his wife are doing right now. Check this out, tiny cracks are finally starting to split across He Ya's black egg. Frowning with pure excitement, he wonders if his little dragon is finally ready to hatch, just as the black shell violently shatters from the inside out. He Ya leaps out, loudly declaring his triumphant return, before morphing into a streak of red light, to yell that he missed his big brother Zhu Minglang so much. Zhu Minglang just grins at him. Getting his face completely licked wet, he laughingly tells him to stop, offering him some 25,000-year-old Hawk Emperor meat to celebrate his successful reincarnation. He tells him to eat first, watching the beast tear off a massive chunk of monster meat while advising him to slow down, since that portion could easily last 7 or 8 meals. In response, He Ya simply opens his jaws wide and gulps down the rest. Bones immediately clatter to the ground in front of him, leaving Zhu Minglang to clear his throat and awkwardly mumble that he should have just kept his mouth shut. He stares at the pulsing red light radiating from the beast, wondering if it is already absorbing the meat's energy. Watching its physical shape begin to shift so rapidly, he holds his head in utter disbelief. At this insane rate of growth, the dragon will probably reach full maturity in absolutely no time. Gently scooping up the beast, he challenges him to show off his brand new skills, prompting He Ya to scan the surrounding area for a quick target to help him digest his massive meal. The dragon lets out a confused growl as Theuvim suddenly approaches on his mount, calling out. Hearing the greeting, He Ya's eyes light up with a mischievous grin as he prepares to strike, forcing Zhu Minglang to turn pale and frantically raise his hands. He screams at Heya to stop, but red energy is already swirling around the beast, forming sharp blades. Theovium watches in horror as the attack slams directly into him, leaving Zhu Minglang scratching his head in embarrassment as his friend is knocked flat onto the dirt. Asking if he is all right, he apologizes and explains that his young dragon must have mistaken his mount for an enemy during their training session. Theovium's face turns completely pale as he screams, "That baby dragon of yours is so freaking brutal." Hearing this, Zhu Minglang reaches out his hand to ask if he's also here for the dragon taming, but Theovium just grabs his hand, replying with absolute certainty, "Of course not. I am here to make up for your last dragon loss and take you to a much more thrilling place. Do you know the Nghiem family in Nghei?" Zhu Minglang calmly replies, "I have heard of them," Zhu Minglang says. Theovium grins. "They host an annual hunt, and you will not believe what the targets are." Zhu Minglang frowns in confusion, asking if they just compete to see who hunts more monsters. There are plenty of places like that, so what is so exciting? Theovium immediately waves his hands to object. It is not about hunting monsters. He raises one finger, his face darkening as he says, "They hunt humans." Zhu Minglang's face fills with shock as he gasps out, "Humans?" Theovium explains that these targets are not ordinary civilians, but extremely brutal death row inmates, or those charged with high treason. Cultivators on the wanted list, basically absolute monsters. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang smiles slightly and asks if he has ever participated in it. Theovium scratches his head, giving a sheepish smile as he admits, "Never. But the thing is, I recently fell for a senior sister who loves this wild game, saying that real men should test themselves in this kind of hunting festival. You know, I am a pretty peaceful guy, so I think I will pass on this." Hearing that, Theovium strokes his chin and mutters, "So this is your dark ancient dragon, right? I recall the grand prize this time is a top-tier black dragon blood essence." Hearing this, his face immediately fills with a righteous fire as he yells, "Defeating evil and championing good is my life duty. Count me in." Seeing this, Theovium scratches his head and sighs. "You are clearly doing it for the prize, yet you sound so incredibly righteous. You are really something, brother." Sunshine spreads all over the Dragon City, illuminating the imperial courtyard of the Le family. Vorgia looks at Li Yunzi walking ahead and asks, "Are you thinking about that jerk again?" She frowns and calmly replies, "When we left Nyornver City, we already told him to hurry back and find us as soon as possible, but he went to Nghei instead, and with so many rich ladies there, he probably became a boy toy." Li Yunzi lowers her head and objects, "He has his own business." Sung Ni rushes in from outside, shouting, "Young miss, this is bad. A woman named Wen Lingfei is at the door, demanding to see you by name." Hearing this, she asks in confusion, "Wen Lingfei?" Vorgia also frowns, wondering, how strange, why did she come all the way to our Liswen continent? Then, Li Yunzi quickly heads toward the main hall. She looks straight ahead and asks, "What does the own ruler want with me?" Lingfei, with a dead serious face, exclaims, "Li Yunzi, I am here to warn you. Stay away from Zhu Minglang." Vorgia scowls and points at her, yelling, "Are you out of your mind? Have you gone completely brain-dead from practicing swords? You are the homewrecker here, yet you dare to boss around the actual wife." Li Yunzi narrows her eyes slightly and asks coldly, "And if I say no?" Lingfei's gaze instantly sharpens with a dark, threatening look. "Then wait for my kingdom's sword army to level Li Xuan. Talk about a tense face-off right here." Meanwhile, Zhu Minglang is walking down the street when he spots something in the corner. He approaches and pats Manhwa on the shoulder, asking, "What are you guys doing here?" He immediately jumps in fright, asking, "Can you not just appear in a normal way for once?" Xiao Ying smiles gently beside him and explains, "We took on a quest to earn some academy points and trade for resources at the treasure pavilion." Zhu Minglang scratches his head and sheepishly asks what kind of quest it is. Manhwa raises a finger, explaining that it is deep inside the coastal border, where a massive, sprawling wetland stretches out. The water-dripping demons there are swarming in massive numbers, occasionally attacking nearby Huangdirp City, so we plan to raid their nest. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang gasps in surprise, warning that deep inside those lands lie various lizard clans, and maybe even giant beasts evolved into dragons. This will not be easy. Hearing this, Xiao Ying looks at the others and agrees. "Absolutely, which is why we are teaming up to split the points evenly." Zhu Minglang points to himself and suggests, "How about letting me tag along? I have a baby dragon that needs combat training, perfect for these water-dripping demons." He secretly plans. There are still a few days left before the hunting festival with La Theovium, a perfect chance to train Heya. Manhwa smiles and nods. "Great. With you around, we will at least have some solid protection." Soon, Zhu Minglang's group arrives at the Hoangdirp wetlands. Sensing the damp air around them, Dagu immediately pokes his head out, but Zhu Minglang instantly stuffs the little guy back into his clothes, telling him to stay put because the water-dripping demons here are pretty dangerous for him. Suddenly, Xiao Ying's face turns completely pale as he cries out in sheer horror. Staring at the lifeless corpse floating in the stream ahead, he stammers out, "Someone is dead." Manhwa lifts the victim's cold arm, muttering, "These are definitely bite marks from a water-dripping demon. They must be close." Suddenly, a water-dripping demon slithers quickly out of the tall grass. Down in the lake, more and more shadow figures begin rising to the surface. With glowing red eyes, they glare at the group. Xiao Ying and the others shoulder up and shout, "There are too many Tik Thui Yu, we are surrounded. Everyone, form a defensive perimeter right now." He nervously asks Zhu Minglang what he is doing, and Zhu Minglang calmly replies that he is simply doing what has to be done. Zhu Minglang quickly performs hand signs to summon He Ya. Emerging from a golden light, he laughs and challenges them to taste his mighty power. Glaring back with bloodshot eyes, the Tik Thui Yu let out threatening, low growls. They instantly charge straight at He Ya. With a flash in his eyes, he tells them to taste his black dragon tail swipe. Bracing one hand on the ground, He Ya whips his tail and sends them flying. A shivering Tik Thui Yu sneaks up behind him. He Ya spins around and roars, asking if they really want to bite his butt. He leaps high into the air and slams his weight down, kicking up massive clouds of dust beneath his rear. Golden light flashes in his eyes as he glares at his targets. "Look at that!" He Ya fires a golden energy blast, leaving Hong Hao panicked as he asks Zhu Minglang if this is supposed to be baby dragon training. How could he summon such a ferocious beast? Trapped up in a tree, Xiao Ying adds that it looks like a baby dragon, and quite familiar too. With a pale, terrified face, he points over and yells, "How is this even possible? Even a powerful baby dragon should only handle a Tik Thui Yo with 400 years of cultivation. How can it be this ferocious? If your black dragon were just a bit larger, I would easily believe it is a fully grown dragon." Zhu Minglang explains that this is indeed the baby dragon he is training, and it is actually the crocodile spirit from back then, now reincarnated. Hearing this, Xiao Ying shouts that he knew it looked familiar, so it really is He Ya. Hong Hao grits his teeth, wondering how the gap between classmates can be this massive. Sitting on the ground, Manhwa curiously asks where Bai Qi is. Zhu Minglang replies that Bai Qi is still in a deep slumber. Shocked, Manhwa asks if deep sleep means a breakthrough, meaning Bai Qi is reaching general rank. Zhu Minglang smiles and confirms that is correct. Internally, he thinks that since Manhwa is his uncle, he would not dare contradict him anyway. Turning their backs on Zhu Minglang, Hong Hao and Manhwa sigh, wondering how they can ever close the gap with this absolute freak. Comparing yourself to others will only drive you mad. Watching in shock from up the tree, Xiao Ying points ahead and screams for Zhu Minglang to watch out. Turning around, Zhu Minglang sees a Tik Thui Yu lunging and worries. Suddenly, Tio Da Zhao leaps out of his sleeve, offering to handle it. He gasps in shock at Tio Da Zhao. Opening its massive jaws, the Tik Thui Yu sneers at the reckless little creature who overestimates himself. Tio Da Zhao tilts his head and squints in another direction, scanning his surroundings. Suddenly, Tio Da Zhao wriggles and dives into a small puddle, shouting that he is hiding. The Tik Thui Yu growls in rage at the water, infuriated by the wild beast playing tricks on it. The Tik Thui Yu watches as Tio Da Zhao swims deeper. Bubbles erupt across the surface as a powerful jet of water shoots straight up, blasting directly toward the Tik Thui Yu. Unbelievable. Even Zhu Minglang is completely stunned. He never expected Tio Da Zhao to be this clever at controlling water, thinking he might actually defeat the Tik Thui Yu. Water drenches the beast, leaving Zhu Minglang speechless. Floating in the pond, Tio Da Zhao playfully sticks his tongue out, teasing the monster to chase him. It plunges into the water, roaring that it is angry now. Worried, Zhu Minglang rushes over to the edge. He watches as the water thrashes violently beneath the surface. Zhu Minglang stares in disbelief. After a moment, Tio Da Zhao pops up with a big bump on his head, proudly claiming victory. Looking at the monsters caught by He Ya, he praises his power, but then quickly looks down in disappointment, muttering that he is still too weak. Hearing this, He Ya comfortingly chuckles, telling him he did great too. Zhu Minglang walks over to comfort him. He says, in his first fight, He Ya needed help from Dam Zhao Long to kill a 200-year-old monster, so defeating a Tik Thui Yu all on your own is already pretty impressive. The little dragon promises to keep trying harder, while He Ya looks away, muttering that they should stop bringing up his embarrassing past. He Ya leaps up, trying to tease and scare the baby dragon. Zhu Minglang pulls out a Tik Thui Yu core. He tells He Ya to stop teasing him, offering the water attribute core as his very first valuable trophy of the hunt. The little dragon nuzzles the core in gratitude, while Xiao Ying points at the water and praises the impressive little beast. Manhwa picks up the map and speaks. Next, we can head straight to Huangye City to search for the water-dripping demon's lair. Hearing that, Zhu Minglang immediately agrees, saying that they should head out right away. Up high, the stone plaque clearly reads Huangye City. A man standing before the city gates cries out, begging them to let him in, wondering why nobody believes his words. He looks up at him pleadingly, screaming that he has never done anything to harm any of them. calling out Gazhong's name. The guard captain frowns, telling him that the city lord is still dead, and everyone claims he murdered him to hide his crimes and killed his own companions. The man cries out in desperation, Zhejiang, even if others do not understand me, do you really think I did this? He bows his head as tears stream down, crying that the city lord was like a father to him, so he could never ignore his death. I only want to find the real killer who murdered them. He finally sighs, telling him to head inside first since they are still investigating the matter, leaving the man to gasp in gratitude. Guzhong quietly watches the man's retreating back as he enters the city gates. Just then, he gallops up on his horse, demanding to know if they have seen Dao Fan, but Jie Zong shakes his head in denial. Pointing his whip at Jie Zong, he snarls that the runaway must be here, reminding him that Huangye City is merely a vassal to the Yan clan, so he should know that harboring a condemned fugitive of the Yan clan means execution for his entire family and asset seizure. He closes his eyes, respectfully clasping his hands to ask if the commander could describe the fugitive's appearance. And then, out of nowhere, Yan He completely lashes his whip across Zhizhong's face, screaming at him. Calling him a beast, he glares down, roaring that they chased the target all this way, yet this useless guard did absolutely nothing to stop the fugitive. Zhizhong and his guards drop to their knees, begging the Lord to calm his rage because they deserve death. He's face darkens as he casts a cold glance at the crowd behind them. He orders his men to put these guard dogs in wooden stocks and take them in for harsh torture, prompting Gazhong to scream out, begging the Lord for mercy. Xiao Ying whispers to Zhu Minglang, noting that we already know they are the Yan clan. Otherwise, anyone would mistake them for lawless bandits based on how ruthlessly they act, which makes Yan He click his tongue in annoyance. He raises his long whip to strike, barking that the Yan clan has never been a topic for lowly peasants to gossip about. He glares at them, asking if they are from that dragon taming academy. They better watch themselves from now on, stay out of this business, and get lost. Hong Hao quickly bows and clasps his hands, pleading that his classmate spoke out of turn, so they will leave immediately, pulling Zhu Minglang along to make their escape. Patience is a virtue in these moments, and Zhu Minglang quietly nods in agreement. Just as they enter, a blood-curdling shriek rings out, and we see Manhwa and the others whip their heads back in horror. He looks down at Jie Zong's fresh corpse, barking that covering up crimes is a death sentence, prompting one of them to whisper that they left just in time. The Yan clan is truly terrifying, and Xiao Ying frowns, muttering that they are totally insane. Zhu Minglang crosses his arms, noting that while those guards were quite pitiful, he has a much bigger problem to worry about. Manhwa looks back to ask what is wrong, and Zhu Minglang calmly points out that the guards of Huangye City have all been slaughtered by the Yan clan. Those water-dripping demons do not even need to hide in the mud anymore, meaning they might have already breached the city. Hearing this, he immediately promises to report to the academy, acknowledging that they will not be getting any sleep tonight. Xiao Ying chimes in, warning that some of the surrounding towns are quite far away. If we want to protect Huangye City's people, we must gather them together, but we are out of time. Zhu Minglang raises his hand, proposing they split up to guard each town. I will guard the gates of Huangye City myself, while you go ask the guards currently on duty here. If there are other hidden entry points along the walls, we cannot let a single water-dripping demon slip through. Hong Hao glances at him and shouts that he is on it, as night falls over the towers of Huangye City. A local official tells Zhu Minglang that they have arranged men to coordinate with his classmates and guard the towns through the night. He thanks the Dragon Taming Academy on behalf of the city, and Zhu Minglang responds that protecting the people is his duty as a dragon shepherd. Zhu Minglang takes out a glowing green command token, staring down at it as he summons his dragon, Qingzhuo. Head up into the sky, and if you spot any high-level water-dripping demons, execute them instantly. The dragon roars back in agreement, assuring him it is not a problem, while Zhu Minglang casts his gaze across the city. Zhu Minglang stares thoughtfully at the water below, realizing that the city's numerous lakes and lowlands connect directly to the outside, allowing those demons to easily slip inside. He looks up to call out, warning Qingzhuo to keep a very close eye on the lakes and lowlands. It quickly flies away and replies, "All right." Hackna points to himself and yells, "Do not forget about Hackna." Zhu Minglang looks at him and asks Hackna, "What should I do?" Zhu Minglang looks at him and orders you protect the city gate, and no matter how many Tikthui demons show up, do not let them break through. Hackna folds his hands together and shouts, "Leave this to Hackna, you can rest easy." Then, he quickly leaps down from the city walls. Standing right before the gate, Hackna lets out a massive roar, telling those Tikthui demons to bring on more. And check this out, he raises his fist, staring intently at the pitch-black forest ahead. Inside that dark forest, countless glowing red eyes stare straight at them. Seeing this, Zhu Minglang's eyes instantly widen. He turns to the Hongdiep city official and asks, besides the Tikthui demons, are there any other monsters around here? The old man widens his eyes, asking, did you see something else? Zhu Minglang looks over, sensing a rotting corpse heavily reeking of mud. This aura is definitely not the water dragon lizard. Suddenly, a beam of green light shoots straight toward the city gate. Hakna gasps and yells, "What on earth is that?" Seeing the green light, the Hong Deep City official shouts, "This is bad. It is the Aptrao ghost." The old official explains the legend. Supposedly, they are born from people who drowned in the swamp, carrying a terrifying grudge that makes them far worse than the Tik Thui demons. That green light slammed onto the ground, and the Aptrao ghost pinned down a chicken, tearing it apart. A man walked out of his house, shouting, "You old hen, laying 0 eggs and screaming at midnight to keep us all awake? Stop." His eyes instantly went wide as the red-eyed Aptrao ghost raised its sharp claws, aiming right at the trembling man. "Terror!" The man shrieked as the Aptrao ghost suddenly collapsed. It turned into a foul puddle of black, slimy mud right on the ground. Thanh Trac opens its mouth to charge a massive green sphere, flying high before hurling it down onto the ground. Watching the massive blast from above, the Hong Diep City official cries out the master's power is truly spectacular. Smiling with relief, he adds this: Aptrao ghost is actually one of the 5 major disasters plaguing our city. Previously, we wasted countless lives and still could not put it down. Yet you took it out in a single shot. This is absolutely incredible. Zhu Minglang replies coldly. This creature has thousands of years of cultivation. It is a lethal threat to ordinary people like you. You see that, right? Down below, an entire army of glowing green eyes is glaring right at them. They crawl forward at lightning speed. Hakna, his eyes burning red with excitement, screams, "Get over here and taste the power of the black dragon." He immediately activates his signature ancient dragon combat skill, letting loose a devastating roar right at the front line. Pulling one leg back, Hakna charges like a bullet into the pack of Tik Thui demons. He yells out, "Hakna, here I come," as he swings his heavy arms to sweep away 2 massive beasts. One of the Tik Thui demons rears up, opening its jaws wide to let out a piercing shriek. It slams into Hakna with brute force, triggering a violent explosion that sends thick dust and debris flying everywhere. Hakna quickly unleashes his ancient dragon strike to clear the area, before building momentum to charge right back into the swarm. Hakna drives a heavy fist down, slamming the beast into the dirt. He plunges his sharp claws deep into its body, before ripping them out with sheer force. Hakna throws his head back, roaring to the sky, "Who else wants some?" Deep in the shadows, a massive Tik Thui demon orders the horde to press the attack. The lesser demons instantly hiss, swarming forward to tear him apart. Watching from afar, Zhu Minglang realizes there is a hidden boss directing this endless horde of monsters. Is the leader hiding in the dark? He must be. Zhu Minglang guesses this is the deviant magic lizard his academy has been tracking. Who would have thought it was here? Explaining why Hoang Deep City is completely crawling with these pests. 4,000 years? Zhu Minglang eyes the giant beast. He silently calculates how to handle this dangerous situation. He can use this 4,000-year-old demon as the perfect stepping stone to trigger Thanh Trac's evolution into full adulthood. He looks up and orders Thanh Trac, "Wipe them out." Hovering high above, his partner immediately charges its green energy to strike. The giant demon counters, spitting out a blast of bright red energy. It unleashes the energy in all directions, as beams of red light crash directly against Thanh Trac's defensive energy sphere. Thanh Trac immediately gathers power to counter with light wing arrows, firing 2 crossing beams that slam directly into the giant demon's chest. Watching the clash from above, Zhu Minglang yells, "Great job, Thanh Trac." Then, he glances over toward Hakna nearby. Down below, he is pinned under a pile of demons, crying out, "You big idiot Thanh Trac, look back at me." Zhu Minglang immediately yells out, "Not good. Thanh Trac, turn back and help Hakna first." Meanwhile, Hakna's eyes flare red as he screams, "You guys are squeezing me too tight." Summoning all his strength, he flings the water lizards off his body and roars, "You oversized house lizards need to get the hell off me." A violent crimson light erupts from his body as he activates his ultimate technique, Black Dragon Evolved. Glowing crimson light erupts from Hakna's eyes as the ground splits wide open, sending bright, boiling magma shooting up from the deep cracks. Staring at the intense crimson glow, Zhu Minglang excitedly wonders to himself if this is really the fully mutated Hakna after his reincarnation. Looking down, Zhu Minglang marvels at the raw power that almost blew him away too, while Hakna glares at the fleeing water demons and roars that they cannot escape. Zhu Minglang looks up to call out to Thanh Trac. He tells him that he can finally cut loose and fight this thing without holding anything back. Right on cue, a brilliant blue orb of energy begins forming right at Thanh Trac's wings. 2 massive energy spheres blast forward in rapid succession toward the giant water demon, forcing the beast to instantly raise a glowing barrier to shield itself. Frowning, Zhu Minglang realizes this mutant water demon holds a pretty solid home field advantage. So if Thanh Trac wants to win using only solar magic, we are in for a pretty brutal showdown. Suddenly, a brilliant idea strikes Zhu Minglang, making his eyes widen. Meanwhile, Hakna's eyes flare with a bright crimson light as he charges in, yelling for everyone to let him handle it. He lunges forward, diving straight at the water demon. Slamming the giant water demon onto the dirt, Hakna drives his sharp horns deep into its stomach. Desperate to break free, the monster immediately bends down and spews a torrent of toxic purple energy right back at him. Terrified, Zhu Minglang screams out for Hakna to watch out, but in the nick of time, a glowing blue barrier appears, perfectly absorbing the brunt of that devastating blast. Flashing a quick thumbs up, Hakna yells his thanks over to Thanh Trac. Talk about ultimate teamwork. Hovering high above, Thanh Trac quickly unleashes another brilliant blue orb of energy straight down. Watching the explosive orb hurtle down, Hakna completely panics and covers his head, screaming at him to actually aim carefully before unleashing that kind of firepower. Thanh Trac just scowls and snaps back, asking who told him to steal his kill anyway, while Hakna frantically dodges the blast, grumbling that it is just a simple steal. He warns him to stop fighting, or else he will blast him with dragon flame. Furious, Thanh Trac fires back that since Hakna ruined his training target, he will just have to become his new sparring partner instead. Watching their silly bickering, Zhu Minglang just sighs as the familiar dynamic officially returns. Down below, the cold, lifeless bodies of the water demons are scattered everywhere. The local leader bows, offering a reward for saving Huangdiep City, but Zhu Minglang immediately steps back and politely declines. He explains that times are tough for everyone, urging them to keep their resources. With tears streaming down his face, the old man grabs his hand in gratitude. Weeping, he says the water demons in neighboring towns are also dead, thanking the Dragon Taming Academy from his heart. Zhu Minglang shrugs off their gratitude, explaining that they are just practicing, but the tearful official is still deeply moved. But the emotional official clasps his hands, pleading that he would feel pretty guilty letting their savior leave empty-handed. Fortunately, there is one absolute treasure he must present, pleading with him not to reject it. Leading him inside, the old man gestures toward a massive cellar, introducing it as the largest wine vault in the entire town. Grinning, the official points ahead and you will not believe what is there. Staring at a feather emitting a pretty blinding light, Zhu Minglang wonders if this is the tail of a giant white shaman moth while touching it. It is remarkably warm, looking almost exactly like the 5th tail feather that grew on Thanh Trac when he evolved. Holding it tightly, Zhu Minglang asks in shock if this is the tail of the legendary white phoenix, demanding to know where he found it. Frowning, the official explains that early one morning, their herbal garden was completely covered in white, making everyone think it was just fresh snow. He adds that as soon as the sun rose, all that supposed snow suddenly took flight and soared into the sky. That was when they realized it was actually a swarm of white shaman moths from the sea. He calmly explains that he found the feather right in the garden center. Looking at the feather, Zhu Minglang tries to connect the dots. It seems the white phoenix escorted the moths here safely. While he doesn't know why it left a tail feather behind, he is pretty sure this definitely belongs to that legendary bird. Dropping to his knees, the desperate old man begs him to listen. This feather is the exact treasure the Nghiem clan is searching for, which caused the city lord's death, and made Chuluang die taking the blame. Knowing that keeping a precious treasure only invites disaster, he wants to hand it over. Even though he knows this will likely bring huge trouble, the old man begs him to take it anyway, shaking as he pleads for the safety of Huangdiep City. Reaching out, Zhu Minglang tells the old man to stand up, agreeing to take it. He smiles, knowing this is a pretty dangerous hot potato to hold, but he absolutely loves a challenge as Manhwa's group heads back to the sect. A classmate says, "Zhu Minglang, thank you so much this time, because without you, destroying the Tuyet Thui monster nest would have been impossible." Teoding turns back to agree. Exactly, once we return to the academy this time, each of us can trade this in for 1,000 points. Zhu Minglang hears this and smiles, replying, "We are all classmates, everyone matters, so looking out for each other is just natural." Zhu Minglang frowns while thinking back to that tail feather, muttering that points are just a small thing. Scoring the white phoenix tail feather this time is the real jackpot, since this holy spirit has the highest lineage in tens of thousands of years, easily helping his dragon, Teobai Chi, break through to the Dragon King realm. Hearing this, Xiaoying speaks up. She asks if they have decided what to get, since those points can be traded for many rare treasures at the academy. Manhwa crosses his arms and replies that he wants to trade for the dragon-taming insights of a former king-class dragon tamer. He is not sure if he has enough points though, while Hong Hao raises a finger, explaining he wants to boost his combat dragon strength with a cool dragon armor set he found. Xiaoying then turns toward him and asks, "What about you, Zhu Minglang?" Holding his companion tight, Zhu Minglang answers that he plans to trade for some flood dragon soul beads. He wants to help his little dragon, Tiuzanjiao, shed its mortal form, making the little beast cry out in pure gratitude, thanking his master. Later in the courtyard, Zhu Minglang looks at He Ya, noting the dragon still cannot maintain its black dragon form. It always reverts to its original shape right after a fight, so they should focus on pushing it to the growth stage next. Hearing this, Thanh Trac cries out in pure excitement, asking if that is really possible. Zhu Minglang gently pats Huang Ling, telling the little guy that Thanh Trac's growth stage breakthrough depends entirely on him, making the blushing creature promise to get the job done. Right after that, Huang Ling lets out a cry, releasing a massive wave of spiritual energy. Sensing the massive power flowing in, Thanh Trac shouts that it feels incredibly comfortable. And after a while, Zhu Minglang thanks the exhausted little guy for his hard work. Smiling, Huang Ling cheers that he really likes Thanh Trac, so helping him is no trouble. Zhu Minglang looks up at Thanh Trac, amazed that the spiritual energy offered by the little dragon could actually trigger a breakthrough. Just watch this, it instantly evolves into the legendary Azure dragon, reaching the mid-tier commander level. Thanh Trac looks straight ahead, muttering that he feels way stronger now and absolutely loves it. Stroking its chin, Zhu Minglang explains that this is the spiritual energy Huang Ling absorbed from an entire star lake. It was all given to you, so digest it well. And reaching the high-tier commander stage in the future will be a breeze. Holding up a glowing soul crystal, he asks if they should strike while the iron is hot and absorb the Sea Eagle Emperor Soul Pearl too. Even if the attributes do not quite match Thanh Trac, this sacred beast soul should help, but Sinhai suddenly appears to stop him, warning him absolutely not to. Startled, Zhu Minglang calls out to Master Sinhai, who looks back and begins to explain the situation. That Sea Eagle Soul Pearl is Dragon King rank, and though it is a sacred beast, and shares a race with Thanh Trac, the dragon's current capacity is limited, prompting Zhu Minglang to bow and ask if Master Sinhai has any better advice. Sinhai calmly suggests that he should disguise himself under a secret identity, putting the Sea Eagle Pearl up for auction at the biggest house to trade for a complete set of Azure Dragon bloodline essences. These include Woodlight Sacred Beast, Soul Beads, high-grade light crystals, high-rank jade leaves, and the Phoenix Fairy Dew. Intrigued, Zhu Minglang asks if that is a good plan, but wonders why they would need high-grade light crystals. With a deep sigh, the old master replies that his father would scold him severely for completely forgetting his own roots, which suddenly triggers a massive realization in Zhu Minglang. Right, he is still a blacksmith, and since they are boosting Thanh Trac, they obviously need to forge a sacred set of dragon armor for him, when suddenly a loud shout from outside catches his attention, calling his name. Theovium walks right in, yelling that the grand hunt is about to begin, so Zhu Minglang needs to pack up and follow him immediately. He stops in absolute shock, asking if this is really that tiny Azure dragon from before. Theovium looks closely at Thanh Trac, asking if it has already reached the growth stage, to which Zhu Minglang calmly sips his tea and confirms it just reached that level. Frowning, he admits the guy is actually pretty impressive. At first he thought he was just a pretty boy, living off some rich lady, but now he seriously suspects he is a legendary dragon-taming genius, which Zhu Minglang confidently tells him to believe. Theovium pouts and grumbles that this pretty boy has some seriously thick skin, claiming he just got lucky finding an exceptionally talented Azure dragon to raise. Unless he can quickly train another dragon to its growth stage, he refuses to believe it, just as He-Ya runs in from outside, panting and cheering that there is still him. Oh, you will love this, he jumps in sheer terror onto Zhu Minglang's lap, asking if this giant is the stupid little dragon. Wondering how it got so big, Zhu Minglang blushes and pushes him off, yelling that he only likes women. Theovium quickly climbs down, scratching his head and saying it was a misunderstanding, since he also only likes women, and promises to introduce him to some girls. At the Grand Hunt Arena, his voice instantly echoes, inviting him to meet some peers. Theovium looks at the crowd inside and introduces him. This is Zhu Minglang, the guy who beat the Outer Academy genius Quan Van Kai. Resting her chin on her hand, the Inkai noble Ka Ngong asks who even is Quan Van Kai. Zhu Minglang just smiles. I do not know either, he replies. Theovium winks and says Quan Van Kai might have some local fame at our academy, but compared to the power of the great clans, he is nothing but a total nobody. He boasts, waving a single finger around. Basically, with me and my friend here at the hunting grounds, you ladies do not need to worry, he is going to protect you. Quan Van Kai slams the table and stands straight up, shouting, do not push it. I am literally sitting right here. Even if talking behind my back is wrong, can you whisper? Seriously. Theovium looks back and asks, oh, so it is Junior Quan. Did you also come for this dangerous hunt? With a dark face, the junior snaps back, what does my grudge with Zhu Minglang have to do with you? That match was only because I underestimated him, anyone can see that. I could not even summon my other dragons. Hearing this, Theovium pats Quan Van Kai on the shoulder and says, then perform well this time. Do not embarrass our first-year Dragon Academy class anymore. Frowning, he points forward and demands, what right does a spoiled heir of the La San sect have to talk trash about me? Do you actually dare to fight me? Bring it. Theovium glances back and scoffs, you are not on my level. But watch this. A new voice suddenly cuts in, shocking everyone. Am I on your level then, little young master of La San? Thioviem turns and sees Nghiem too gasping you. Hung Hung greets him with a wide smile. Is that the eldest young master, Nghiem too? Long time no see? Nghiem too turns and smiles at her lady Ka. Why waste your breath on that idiot from the La family? Why not come sit with me instead? She walks over, hugging Nghiem too with a bright, compliant smile. Sure, pardon my manners, little master of La Sun. Since the Nghiem clan hosts this hunting festival, I can hardly turn down the host's invitation. Zhu Minglang lifts his teacup and asks, Are you Nghiem too, the son of Nghiem Trin? He looks over and barks out, What if I am? Our main character smiles back and says nothing, just asking, I have admired you for a long time. Zhu Minglang stares intensely at Nghiem too, plotting. Wait, you remember these guys, right? They are the ones who cornered our main character on that demon island. Walking right past him, Nghiem too sneers, Watch your back. This hunting festival is definitely not some silly little playground fight for kids from your academy. Nghiem too glares at him with a cold threat. If you slip up and fall into the hands of those monsters, you will regret ever being born. Thioviem walks over and pats Zhu Minglang's shoulder, saying, I originally wanted to introduce you to some gorgeous girls from the great families. If you could win one over, you could skip years of hard work. But sadly, it seems they do not care for you. He lets out a yawn. Honestly, I prefer some peace, he replies. Kandu walks over and softly asks, Can I sit here? As Zhu Minglang looks at her in confusion, Thioviem gasps, Wait, are you not the little maid of the Hatu queen? Hearing this, she scoffs, Well, at least you actually have a memory. Unlike a certain someone who forgets people after a few days, no wonder you ran away from your wedding with the princess of Lok Thui. Scratching his head, he gives an awkward laugh. You did not come here to collect that 3 million bounty on me, did you? Kanju closes her eyes and replies, Exactly. Do you want to tie your own hands so I can claim it? Zhu Minglang frowns with a wry smile. If you are short on cash, I can return the money you borrowed for Kuklong. But as for the bounty, I cannot let you have it. I am afraid that is impossible. She smiles slightly, stepping closer. I used to think you were either an extraordinary man or just out of your mind to run away from the princess of Lok Thui. He freezes up, shocked. So what is it then? Kandu stares into Zhu Minglang's eyes, pronouncing each word a total scumbag. He chuckles awkwardly. You are really misjudging me. Right then, several girls approach from behind, squealing, I cannot believe this hunting festival actually let us see the gorgeous face of the young Hatu queen. This is the luck of 3 lifetimes. Raising their hands, they rush forward, Your Majesty. Please sign this for me. I am your absolute biggest fan. She looks at the crowd. One by one, please. Thioviem and Zhu Minglang look at each other in shock. The young Queen Kandu? Crossing her arms, the Hatu queen announces, Allow me to introduce myself again. I am the young Queen Kandu of Hatu. Please take good care of me. Both of them immediately scramble to their feet, inviting her to sit. Suddenly, she glances backward as a voice calls out, My dear little sister, Kandu. Why not come over and sit with me instead? Seeing this, Kanju questions, Does your table not already have a beautiful lady? But Nghiem too instantly cries out, No, compared to you. He shoves Kanangung aside with his hand and adds, How could any of them even be called beautiful? The other girls catch her and huff coldly, Kanangung, it seems we are being looked down on. We should just leave. Zhu Minglang and Thioviem sit back down, resting their chins as they watch the drama. Yan Shu points his finger right at him and barks out, Get lost and clear some space for me. Zhu Minglang just frowns and immediately spits a grape seed straight into the guy's face. His bloodshot eyes pop as he roars, I, Yan Shu, have lived this long, and yet nobody has ever dared to act up with me, let alone spit a grape seed at me. Kid, do you even know the consequences of crossing me like this? Zhu Minglang pops another grape into his mouth and asks, Consequences, did you ever think about the consequences before you blindly ordered others to scram without knowing who they are? Yanshu snaps, turning around to scream, Where are my men? Smash all his teeth and cut out his tongue. I want to hear him screaming in agony from inside the death row dungeon. Jingyu frowns, looking over as she warns Yanshu, This man is an old friend of mine. You were rude first, so do not blame him for hitting back. He scowls and snaps, So what? Since when has a master like Yanshu ever suffered such humiliation? Zhu Minglang stares down at the grape in his palm and replies, If you keep causing trouble, you will only face even worse humiliation. Yanshu's face flushes deep red as he barks, Are you begging for death? Daring to act this arrogant in front of Yanshu, she fires back with absolute fury on her face. Is this how your Yan clan treats guests? Everyone here is an honored guest for this hunting grand festival, not some prisoners you can just lock up. He looks over at him and lets out a cold, mocking sneer. Since you are participating in the hunt, this makes things simple. Your name is Zhu Minglang, right? Better eat as many grapes as you can now, because you will not get another chance. With that, a highly frustrated Yanshu turns and storms off. Xiaoyan's eyes light up as he flashes him a thumbs up. Seeing this, Jingyu steps in to warn him, You still need to be careful. Yanshu is no ordinary threat. You should skip this hunting festival. Zhu Minglang catches a falling grape in his mouth and shrugs. It is fine. He and I already have history, we might as well settle everything. She looks at him with deep concern, warning that Yan Shu is utterly rotten to the core. He is far more dangerous than he looks and will stop at nothing to get his way. Zhu Minglang bites into his grape and asks, do I look simple to you? Xiao Yan chimes in from beside them, do not worry, little sister Jingyu, old Zhu here is incredibly strong. Why don't you join us for this hunt? Jingyu crosses her arms and sighs, I do not have any combat skills to speak of. He flashes another thumbs up and grins, no worries, we will protect you. Just sitting on the sidelines is nothing compared to the thrill of the real thing. She giggles and holds up a finger, agreeing, all right, but I need to go change my outfit first. Everyone wait for me, I will be right back. Zhu Minglang turns and asks, why did you trick our little queen into tagging along? We are not going there to play around. Xiao Yan just laughs, she is easy on the eyes. Plus, I am actually giving you an extra layer of insurance here. Zhu Minglang asks with a puzzled look, what kind of insurance? He holds up a finger and says that Yan Shu will absolutely target you during the hunt. The little queen clearly has feelings for you, so she will definitely protect you. Plus, having someone with her insanely high status around during the hunt means there is bound to be a powerful elite guardian protecting her. Zhu Minglang chuckles, honestly, I think you are just drooling over her gorgeous looks. Xiao Yan laughs, calling him a total idiot. Zhu Minglang stands completely frozen on the spot as his friend continues, the little queen has eyes for you, you big dummy. Check out this scene, the wings of the Ying Long are soaring high up in the sky. High up on the dragon's back, Zhu Minglang's voice echoes as he asks, since this grand hunting event covers such massive mountains, won't some death row prisoners try to run away? Xiao Yan calmly shakes his head, not a chance. Every single death row prisoner has been implanted with the eggs of a highly parasitic, evil insect. These eggs are controlled by a demon flute. The moment it plays, the bugs hatch and instantly devour the host's internal organs. He smiles and continues to explain, these insect eggs make the hosts incredibly thirsty, forcing them to constantly seek out water to drink and pee very frequently. Hearing this, Jingyu is immediately left highly puzzled from behind. Even so, with these mountains being so massive, trying to find the cause of death will be incredibly difficult, right? It feels like we are playing hide and seek. Are we seriously supposed to sniff out urine trails to find these death row prisoners? Xiaoyan points to the dog beside him to reassure her, of course not. Every single hunting team is equipped with a golden hound beast. This golden hound beast is incredibly sensitive to the smell of the evil parasites in their urine. It will easily lead us straight to those devils. Jingyu is pretty surprised, her eyes widening as she realizes how it works. Zhu Minglang looks down at the forest below and tells them, all right, let us make our descent from right here. Cut to the forest below, where a figure in a purple cloak walking behind raises his voice. Do I need to repeat myself once more? This pale, muscular, corpse-like monster, standing right here, is known as a Xing Kun. Mouth dripping with blood, he rasps out the brutal orders, smash all his teeth, cut out his tongue, break every single bone, and make sure he is still breathing when you drag him here to be skinned alive. Then, holding up a portrait of Zhu Minglang, he instructs use this painting to track him down. The target is named Zhu Minglang, and he travels with someone named La. Just break his legs, that is all. Looking at the portrait, Hinkon frowns and asks, wait, I cannot kill him? It has been way too long since I had fresh meat. Young master warns, do not cause trouble, just follow my orders. Hearing this, the killer just sneers back. Keeping targets alive is not really my style, but since it is an order from young master Nghiem, I will try to hold back. Meanwhile, Zhu Minglang and his group are making their way through the dense forest. While Zhu Minglang leads the way, Theovium turns to the girl and asks, tell me, Kindur, I heard the elite fighters from your Hatur kingdom are the absolute best, so where are they hiding to protect you from the shadows? She calmly responds, I did not bring any fighters with me. Her words make Theovium scream out in absolute panic. What? That guy from the Deem family is definitely going to attack us. If you do not have bodyguards, are we not just waiting to be slaughtered? Kaindor closes her eyes, casually asking, wait, did you not say he could protect me perfectly fine? His face says it all, pure disbelief. But wait, our golden dog buddy is already sniffing out a fresh trail on the ground. Suddenly, it pivots, taking off down another path. Zhu Minglang spots this instantly. He bolts after it, yelling back, hurry, follow me and let us see where it goes. Kaindor watches with an eager look, wondering if they are about to run into the demon. Meanwhile, Theovium carefully warns her, you are pretty excited now, little girl, but do not go crying in terror later. In no time, Zhu Minglang catches up to the golden dog right in front of a massive cave in the woods. Inside, a pile of blood-soaked corpses lies scattered on the ground. He frowns, staring into the dark cave with intense, hyper-focused confusion. Clutching a bloody corpse and his portrait, Hinkon steps out, killed 2 handsome boys. He mutters, but once they were completely dead, I realized their faces were a bit different from this painting. He tosses the paper right at Zhu Minglang's feet, asking, "Hey kid, is this you in the drawing?" Condor instantly covers her mouth, gasping in horror. "Wait, are you that infamous demon?" Hinkone rolls his eyes and grins back. "Little girl, you know me? Did I murder one of your relatives? Well, lucky you, because today you are going to reunite with them." Zhu Minglang just stares at him, completely unmoved. Beside him, Kander whispers a warning: this guy is a pure, cold-blooded killer with a seriously sick and disgusting hobby. For a long time, the major city-states in Haisung had a 2 million gold bounty on his head. Then she looks at him encouragingly. "Hey, that is 2 million less than you, so he must not be as tough as you. Go get him." Zhu Minglang smiles and questions her. "I am running from an arranged marriage, while he is a serial killer. Are those two even comparable?" Standing at the cave entrance, Hinkone roars out, "You should know that every death row prisoner has a parasite egg in their stomach, and the moment my demon flute plays, those worms devour their organs. And get this, you stay fully awake while they slowly devour you from the inside out. I actually quite like the worms in my belly because they are just like me." Hearing this, Zhu Minglang sounds a bit confused and hesitates. "Wait, so are you saying you look like a giant worm?" Nghiem nearly facepalms in disbelief at the question, while an irritated Hinkone screams back in denial. "Damn it, what is wrong with your comprehension skills? This demon lord means I am like those evil parasites because we both love eating human organs." Shaking with pure rage, he snarls, "It seems you have no idea what happens when you make me angry." Zhu Minglang maintains his hilariously clueless attitude, asking, "Okay, so what are you actually trying to say here?" Snap! Completely losing his cool, Hinkone charges forward, screaming, "Now I finally get why that guy wanted to rip your tongue out. Die." But Zhu Minglang just stands there, totally relaxed. Instead of instantly striking back, he continues to push the killer's buttons with a simple question. "Why is that?" A blue light flashes in his eyes as he whispers his technique, Phantom Spirit Gale Storm. Standing completely still, the Tempest targets the demon, unleashing a soft yet razor-sharp gale of soul storm energy that blasts straight toward him. A flash of light grazes right past the demon's shoulder. Raising his hands, he releases a burst of dark energy, scattering the incoming attack. Hinkone grins maliciously, mocking not even a scratch. Watching this, he realizes this demon is actually pretty tough. Zhu Minglang frowns and shouts, "Hey ya, looks like it is up to you." Leaping out from a glowing golden seal, the dragon roars, "Easy work. Now feel the wrath of the mighty Hey ya." Hinkone quickly raises his arms to block the dragon's strike. Watching this, Zhu Minglang gasps in surprise. "A beast shaper." He sneers back, "Glad to see you have eyes. But next, I am going straight for you. You dragon shepherds are nothing but glorified lizard breeders anyway." Hinkone raises his hand, gathering a sinister purple energy as he spits out trash. Hey-Ya glares back, letting out a deafening roar. "Not on my watch." Stomping its powerful leg hard against the ground, Hey-Ya unleashes a massive shockwave of energy tearing right toward the demon. Hinkone slams his fist into a rock, needs balance. This infant dragon is proving pretty tough to handle. "Let me take you out first." Hey-Ya opens his jaw wide, spitting a blast of fire and roaring to taste his dragon flame. He leaps high into the sky, summoning the massive phantom of a giant elephant and yelling to get down on the ground. Seeing the giant foot stomping down, the beast quickly jumps away to dodge the crushing blow. Hinkone laughs. Total trash. But right after, a bright beam of green light pierces the dark sky and shoots straight down. Startled, he glances back before quickly conjuring a shield of red bone to dodge the incoming green beam. Thanh Trac hovers in midair, his entire body radiating with a powerful surge of green energy. A sphere of green light crashes down, exploding all over the place. Pinched to the ground by the heavy pressure, he screams in pain. Latuviem puts his hands on his hips and scoffs at the crater, saying that Garbage Devil barely had any skill but still dared to show off. Served him right. Condor crosses her arms and asks him why he is getting so excited when Zhu Minglang was the one who got the kill. Latuviem chuckles and says that for a small-time nobody like this, Zhu Minglang alone is enough. Why would they ever need his help? Frowning slightly, he thinks that this beast trainer is pretty tough. If all the prisoners here are this strong, things could get really messy. Zhu Minglang reaches out and catches the flying iron ring. That is one down. Patting the dog on the head, Latuviem tells it to lead them to another target as the sun begins to set and the moon slowly takes over the night sky. Watching the dog drink some water, Zhu Minglang complains that there is absolutely nothing around here besides a pile of old dry bones. He glares at the pup and asks if it is actually reliable since it has been leading them in circles for half the day. Condor sighs with a deep frown, wondering if this stupid dog even has any tracking instincts or if they are just totally lost. Grabbing his head, Latuviem wonders if the dog is actively messing with them since they checked multiple spots and found 0 dangerous prisoners. Zhu Minglang yells out a threat, warning the dog that if it drags them to another wasteland, he will roast it for Hey-Ya to eat. That night, the pup leads the 3 of them running forward. His eyes gleam as he boasts that they finally found the right place, feeling the dark energy of a real devil, while the others warn him to be pretty careful. Looking at the empty space ahead, Lathiovium yells out, asking where the golden dog suddenly disappeared to. Peeking from behind, Lathiovium yells out to ask where the little pup ran off to, but suddenly a long whip lashes straight at him. Nghiem approaches with his whip, laughing as he asks how that strike felt, while Lathiovium glares back with a deep scowl. He curses at the dog, calling it a worthless traitor for setting them up, wishing he had turned it into stew instead of trusting it. The dog happily wags its tongue as its master pats it, while Nghiem walks over, kicks him hard, and barks to stop staring. He demands to know if they realize whose territory they entered, telling them to behave while Lathiovium leans back against the rock. He dares them to go ahead and kill him, saying if they lack the guts, then they are basically his grandchildren. Coldly laughing, Nghiem scoffs. Too easy. Killing you right now would be a total waste. Making him completely ruin the reputation of the La family in front of the major clans is much better. Hearing this, Lathiovium roars in anger for Nghiem to watch his back. Nghiem lashes his whip again. Shut up. He yells at him to close his mouth. But look at this. Just as the whip is about to land, a flash of blue energy blocks it completely as Zhu Minglang steps forward to confront them. Turning around, Lathiovium yells for everyone to run, claiming these cowards do not have the courage to kill him. Mocking their loyalty, Nghiem laughs and says this touching display of friendship only makes him even more excited. Kanger immediately yells that he has gone way too far, reminding him that the Nghiem clan does not rule this entire Nghai territory. He turns. Anyone nearby? He immediately asks his subordinate. Bowing with a grin, Nghiem assures him that not even a single ant is within 5 miles, so his young master can do whatever he wants. Shaking, she cowers. What do you want? She stutters from behind Zhu Minglang. He bursts into loud laughter, saying there are so many things he wants to do with her, and he just wonders which one she will enjoy the most. Turning completely pale, Condor screams that he is absolutely shameless. Nghiem glares over at Zhu Minglang, laughing as he adds that they still have this little brat. Since he dared to mess with him and nobody is around to save him, he plans to chop him into tiny pieces. With a light chuckle, he responds that it is not actually his first time messing with him. Confused, the villain mutters to himself, wondering why he has absolutely no memory of this. Rubbing his chin, Zhu Minglang reminds him that while he and his father were up in the clouds, he was down on a demonic island. On the demonic island of Tuert Hai, his father cornered him for days, so surely they could not have forgotten that quickly. Nghiem eyes widen in pure shock as he yells out that he was the helper Lam Chiao hired to deal with the Eagle King. Grinning widely, he says that he has been waiting for the perfect chance to get some payback, and now here it is. I did not expect you to bring your men to such a perfect deserted place, Zhu Minglang says, his face darkening. Do not worry, I will clean you up nicely. He coldly declares that even when you are in your grave, your father will still be clueless about who actually killed his precious son. Nghiem raises his whip, screaming out that he will smash every single tooth out of your mouth first. But Nghiem slaps him right across the face, yelling at him to shut up before turning to apologize deeply to Zhu Minglang. He begs Zhu Minglang not to listen to his brother's nonsense, while Zhu Minglang just stands with crossed arms, summoning Thean Saturday. Zhu Minglang asks if he still thinks spitting seeds was an insult, making Nghiem drop to his knees, begging for his life and admitting he was completely blind to offend someone so powerful. Zhu Minglang's lips curl into a cold smirk as he mutters, "Too bad." Looking straight down at him, Zhu Minglang coldly says that he has always been ruthless, and there are no second chances. Covered in tears, Nghiem begs for mercy, crying out that he is just a mad dog who foolishly barked in front of him, and begs for one last chance. He promises never to do it again, but as he trembles, blood suddenly splatters everywhere, cutting his desperate words short. Nghiem looks up at the looming shadow and screams, "King-level power, please stop." Sharp claws pierce right through his chest as he spits out a mouthful of blood, shaking violently and crying out, "Do not kill me." Zhu Minglang just stands there silently, watching his body collapse onto the cold ground. Tuviem stares in absolute shock, wondering if he has really been calling this monster his brother, while Kandu realizes why Princess Lakthui wanted this man so badly. Zhu Minglang casually asks him to clean up the crime scene, making sure everything is completely gone. Thiensat confidently replies, "Do not worry, destroying evidence is what this Dragon King does best." Zhu Minglang then glares down at the dog, warning that if it wants to live, it needs to lead them to other prey. The sobbing beast begs him to spare its pathetic life, promising to do absolutely anything, while a drooling Tuviem asks if they should look for the death row inmates instead. Zhu Minglang hesitates for a second, then immediately sprints after a group of fleeing prisoners, shouting excitedly, "Hand over those iron rings right now." Somewhere else, Tuviem grins widely, holding out his hand and demanding that they give up their prisoner rings. One desperate man points at them and cries out, "But we worked so incredibly hard to get these iron rings." Back at the Grand Hunting Assembly, the announcer declares Zhu Minglang's group has won first place. Together with Thu and Kanjdu, they earned 33 iron rings, and a man hands over their box. Zhu Minglang accepts the box with a polite thank you, while a wheelchair-bound Van Kai screams out in absolute fury that they are utterly shameless. Zhu Minglang just glares, asking what he plans to do. And here is where things get wild. The entire crowd starts shouting accusations, claiming these guys are cheaters who stole every single one of their rings. Look at our wounds. They beat us up and stole everything. Complaining that they do not deserve first place. Zhu Minglang just cleans his ear, casually asking if hunting teams fighting each other is not completely normal. He remarks they could have just stolen theirs back, leaving a sweating Thu to nervously warn his boss to stop talking. He whispers that they need to leave immediately because while Zhu Minglang can flee Engi Hai any time, he and the young queen are about to become public enemies. Zhu Minglang frowns, pointing out that Thu was easily the most eager one when they were robbing people. Thu argues he was only collecting them while Zhu Minglang did all the heavy lifting, right when Nghiem Trin suddenly bursts through the doors. He announces himself as Nghiem Trin, shouting that his son has mysteriously vanished somewhere during the hunt. Because he suspects someone among the guests harmed his boy, he demands that everyone must stay inside the Nghiem clan's mountain palace and cooperate fully with his investigation. Tran Hao calmly picks up his teacup and questions him. He points out that the grand hunt is incredibly dangerous, so is it not totally normal if something unfortunate happened to his son Nghiem too? Nghiem Trin's face darkens, asking if Tran Hao refuses to cooperate, making Tran Hao slam the table and demand what the Nghiem clan actually thinks they are doing. Did they accept the invitation just to be accused of plotting against his family? As the old man cold-heartedly orders his guards to step forward, he commands them to take Tran Hao away for interrogation, driving the latter into an absolute, screaming rage. He roars at Nghiem Trin, demanding to know if he truly believes his clan is powerful enough to rule over all of Engi Hai. Nghiem Trin grabs his head and slams it brutally onto the table, telling the filthy pig to shut up as the shocked onlookers watch him fall limp. He glares at the crowd, shouting that this involves the very survival of his son. If they cooperate honestly until the truth comes out, they can leave peacefully, otherwise, the Nghiem family will make them regret it. The OVM crosses his arms, nervously whispering to Zhu Minglang about what they will do if they get caught. But Zhu Minglang calmly reassures him, saying they will never find the bodies, so it is all just empty threats. A guard approaches and reports, "My lord, before the hunt even started, someone had a pretty heated clash with the young master." Pointing directly at Zhu Minglang, he shouts out that he is the one. Seeing this, Thu frowns in a panic. "This is bad. It looks like he is targeting us." Zhu Minglang just taps his own nose and tells him to relax. "Even if they beat us to death, we simply deny everything." Nghiem Trin walks over, remarking that this young man looks quite unfamiliar. Resting his chin on one hand, Zhu Minglang just smiles and says, "I killed him." Hearing this, Thu nearly cries from panic, utterly bewildered. What is he doing? Didn't he just say we would deny everything to the death? Table slammed. Furious, Nghiem Trin instantly roars at him. "What did you say?" Still resting his chin with a bright smile, Zhu Minglang calmly repeats, "Your son, Nghiem too. I killed him." The old man grimaces, screaming that it is impossible. "A banana." Picking it up, he smiles. "You do not believe me?" Squeezing the banana tight in his fist, Zhu Minglang says, "Imagine this is his neck. Back then, I did it exactly like this. Watch this." As Nghiem Trin's face turns pitch black, he furiously summons his dragon, roaring that he's going to kill him. Zhu Minglang just scoffs at this, standing up to quickly summon Tian Saturday. Suddenly, Ngotiu steps in, gathering energy as he shouts back off, "Beast! I am Sequencer Ngotiu of Nge Hai." Dragon grabbed. The Silver Flame King squeezes its neck, roaring out, "Die for me." With a massive swing, he hurls the beast far into the distance, leaving the onlookers gasping in shock. It is the Silver Flame King. Ngotiu is here, shaking violently from head to toe. Nghiem Trin panics. Damn it, why is he here? Could his secrets have been exposed? Han Quan steps out from behind him, asking with concern, "Are you all right?" Min Long laughs and replies that it is fine. He is not even enough for her Dragon King to eat. She points at him, introducing him as the Sequencer of Nye Hai. "Ngotiu, thanks to your Tran Lin Hai, we were finally able to gather evidence of Nghiem Trin slaughtering the Vu clan." Crossing his arms, he laughs loudly. "Great job, kid. Luckily you managed to lure him out. Otherwise we would still be waiting for that cowardly turtle to crawl out." Laughing, she asks, with his son dead, how could any father keep hiding? Can you believe his reaction here? Nghiem Trin is frozen in shock, realizing his son's death was actually planned all along. He screams in a frenzy, demanding to know who he really is, while Zhu Minglang just smiles and asks, "What is wrong? Have you been trapped on that island so long that you don't even know who you blocked?" The old man roars in pure rage. "It was you who made me suffer on that demon island for half a month. I almost turned into a wild savage. If I had known, I would have charged into that island to wipe you out completely." Whack! No Tiu slams his head onto the table, shouting out, "Shut your mouth, you bastard. You murdered the Grand Instructor of Thuan Academy and slaughtered over 8,000 innocent Vu people." Onlookers gasp, so he killed Grand Instructor Lam Shi. Death is too good for him. Without some powerful faction shielding him, this scum would have been beaten to death a long time ago. Karma. Clutching his neck, Tronhao laughs out loud. Talk about instant retribution. He then kicks the old man with all his might, cursing him for striking him earlier. Grabbing Nghiem Trin's collar, Ngo Tiu says now that this is settled, everyone can disperse. I need to take him to the Thuan Longhai Academy. It is time to finally get answers for Grand Instructor Lam Chu. Handing back the Tran Hai Lin, he says here, "This will be of great help to you, and we really owe this victory to you." Glaring at him, Nghiem Trin screams, "Brat! I will remember this grudge." Zhu Minglang immediately clasps his hands, replying, "I only lured the snake out of its hole. The real credit goes to Sequencer Ngo." Kanju looks over and asks if he had planned to kill Nghiem Tu from the very beginning. Sitting back down, Zhu Minglang asks, "Of course, why wouldn't I?" With a flattering smile, Tuoviem begs him, "Brother, tell me, how on earth did you train your dragon to king rank? Please share some of your wisdom." Scratching his head, Zhu Minglang responds, "I am really not that amazing. I just picked up this dragon by accident." "No way." Tuoviem gasps in utter shock. "By accident?" Looking at his slumped posture, she asks, "Did that completely destroy your spirit?" From the side, Zhu Minglang protests that he is telling the absolute truth. Thiensat instantly roars, "You brat, did you say you picked me up?" Panicking, Zhu Minglang quickly corrects himself, "My bad. I meant I had a really hard time begging you to come." Then he rides back on another flying dragon. He thinks of her group, wondering how Li Yunzi and the others are doing right now. He grumbles that Thiensat is sulking, and Thanh Trac and Hakna are too small to wait. Zhai suddenly pops up behind him to mock, "You useless brat. Look at your first, second, and third wives. Is any of them easy to handle? Why waste your time worrying?" Zhu Minglang immediately argues that he does not have that many wives, but Shai loudly shouts back, "Level up. Forget everything else and rapidly raise the strength of Thanh Trac and Hakna right now. Hurry to your Truckmon branch sect to forge a dragon armor for Thanh Trac." Bowing his head, he mutters that he knows. But the nearest Truckmon branch is in Cam Than, which will take about 4 to 5 days by flying dragon. Zhu Minglang turns back and says it is a good thing Qing Zhuo kept fighting those ocean monsters along the way. It really helped polish his combat skills. And once Qing Zhuo grows a bit more, we will easily turn things around. On his way back, dark clouds completely cover the sky as heavy rain pours down. Covering his eyes, Zhu Minglang grumbles to himself, "Could the storm not have waited until I actually arrived?" Wondering where he can take shelter, Zhu Minglang spots a dark cave nearby. Looking closely at the cave, he says this looks like a sea eagle monster nest, but it seems abandoned for now, making it a perfect spot to escape this rain. After quickly building a fire, Zhu Minglang stares at the Genhai bell in his hands, wondering, is this thing actually as magical as they say? Zhu Minglang frowns as he peers inside the artifact, highly confused and wondering if he is using it the wrong way. Deciding to try channeling his spiritual energy inside, Zhu Minglang sends a wave of power into it. Watching the Genhai bell glow with a vibrant blue light, he realizes it definitely needs spiritual energy to activate, eager to see how powerful it really is. The Genhai bell suddenly floats up into the air, radiating a brilliant light all around them. The expanding glow instantly stops the downpour. Watching the dark storm clouds melt away, Zhu Minglang says, "Wow, this artifact can actually clear up the entire sky." Looking up with a pale face, he mutters, "But wait, this loud sound is definitely not right. Not expecting a giant wave, are you?" Zhu Minglang panics as a massive wave rises, shouting, "You must be kidding." The giant wall of water crashes violently against the cliffside. Looking back in absolute shock, he yells, "Man, that was close." Now riding on Feilong, Zhu Minglang stares down at the water. This is an insanely massive tide, basically a full-scale tsunami disaster. If a wave like this swept through the city, how many people would even survive? Looking down at the artifact, he says, "Who would have thought this tiny Genhai bell held such terrifying power to summon a massive tide like this? It is basically comparable to a Dragon King going all out. What an absolute treasure." Zhu Minglang turns to his companion, shouting, "Feilong, we need to get out of here before anyone realizes we caused this massive commotion." High up in the sky, a massive dragon suddenly soars past, making him look up in surprise. The man riding the dragon shouts out, "This raging storm must mean the sacred beast is highly displeased with our Qing Cheng." The woman behind him agrees we should investigate if someone disturbed the storm beast. But there are no tracks or lingering aura of a sacred beast. Plus, I cannot detect even a single trace of its scent. Watching them fly away, Zhu Minglang chuckles to himself, "Wow, I managed to alarm 2 Dragon Kings at once. Good thing I ran fast." Looking at the distant courtyard, he smiles, "Looks like I finally arrived." A simple wooden plaque hangs right above the courtyard entrance. Looking around the place, Zhu Minglang wonders if this is the small inner courtyard guarded by his uncle, Zhu Wangxing. This looks way more reliable than the main courtyard his dad runs back in the imperial capital. Just then, Zhu Rong walks in, asking if he is the guest. Staring at him closely, she demands to know if this kid is the young sect master the housekeeper mentioned. Facing Zhu Rong, he confirms yes, I am the young master of the Zhu sect, Zhu Minglang. She gasps, yelling that he visited the imperial capital once when she was 13 years old. That older cousin of mine was incredibly handsome back then. And you actually resemble him quite a bit. Letting out a forced laugh, he retorts, what do you mean resemble? I am literally Zhu Minglang. Zhu Rong keeps staring and says, but my older cousin suffered a cultivation deviation and fell from being a genius cultivator. He went from a legendary sword cultivator to a regular nobody. But you do not seem like an ordinary person at all. Talk about a twist, he chuckles, explaining he is actually a dragon tamer now. Which makes her clap and yell that she is one too. Wiping sweat from his face with a towel, the housekeeper nervously stammers, but young lady, I have never actually met the young master before. Zhu Rong beams with a bright smile, insisting this is definitely my cousin. I remember him. Yes, it is absolutely this face. Taken aback, Zhu Minglang thinks, did she not say I only look slightly like him? Grabbing his arm tightly, she laughs and says I am about to meet the princess of our neighboring kingdom, so come along with me to see this beauty. Hearing this, the housekeeper tries to stop her. He pleads, young lady, the young master just arrived, let him get some rest first. But Zhu Minglang chuckles and declines. He says, it is fine. This is my first time in Qingcheng and I want to explore, so my cousin can show me around. Arriving at the Li family estate in Qingcheng, Zhu Rong excitedly introduces the place. She says this is the Qingcheng City Lord Manor, and the eldest Miss Li Taimo is my absolute best friend here. Gesturing toward the pavilion, she explains she invited me over to admire the flowers and meet some very special guests who arrived today. Zhu Rong points at Zhu Minglang, proudly introducing him, hello everyone, this is my older cousin from the imperial capital. He just arrived in Qingcheng, so I brought him along to meet you all. Rising with a warm smile, the eldest lady Li Taimo replies, what a coincidence. My special guest is also from the imperial capital. Zhu Minglang looks over in utter surprise, his eyes wide. Seeing his shock, Triodwan coughs violently before immediately pointing a finger and shouting, is that you? Zhu Minglang forces a wry smile and sighs, so it is Triodwan. Talk about bad luck. Young Prince Trialdur of the Kirkding Empire stops Trialdwan with a hand on his shoulder, smiling as he welcomes Zhu Minglang to the beauty gathering. Frowning, Zhu Minglang mutters that he was just passing by, prompting Lerthai Mark to ask if the prince knows this young man. Trialdur laughs, replying that a sneaky thief once tried to break into his imperial sacred clan palace. He unleashed his dragons to hunt the intruder, but the clever thief managed to escape. Trialdur calmly adds, later I learned that the thief was none other than the Truck sect eldest young master. Why would a once-in-a-millennium genius swordmaster do something so incredibly sneaky? Reaching for a pastry on the table, Zhu Minglang retorts that night, I drank with your sister until dawn, getting completely lost in the palace. Shoving the treat into his mouth, he adds, that is why I flew up just to find my bearings. And yet you claim I tried to storm the holy temple. Zhu Minglang snaps, crossing his arms. If not for your sister, I would have skinned and cooked those dragons of yours. Triordur holds Triodwan back with a sigh, forget it. It was just a foolish clash of our younger days. Too bad that legendary genius swordmaster has now completely hit rock bottom. It is so rare to find an equal rival. But Trialdwan suddenly interrupts, your highness. He is currently a dragon trainer, leaving Trialdur completely stunned by the news. Unreal, right? Triordur points at him, laughing out loud. You, Zhu Minglang, actually became a dragon trainer? Folding his hands, Zhu Minglang laughs exactly. So I will have to rely on the young prince from now on, making Triordur glare back. Trialdur, scoffing, how would I dare? I only rely on my royal status. I could never compare to a genius like you. Closing his eyes and picking his ear, Zhu Minglang sighs, seeing Trialdwan was already unlucky enough today. Now I must deal with you too. It seems this heavy storm is heaven warning me to stay away from Kum City and its endless trouble. Enraged, Trialdwan points a finger at Zhu Minglang and roars, how dare an insolent fool speak to the prince like that? Trialdur raises his hand to stop the anger, laughing, it is fine. I actually prefer people with this kind of fearless personality. Besides, Zhu Minglang is now the young master of Truck sect, making him an equal to a young prince like myself. Stepping in with a warm smile, Lerthai Mark acknowledges both as distinguished guests from the capital, raising her cup to toast their imperial friendship. Trialdur raises his teacup, replying that Lady Lerthai Mark is far too polite, while Zhu Minglang watches them thoughtfully with crossed arms. Now wait, doesn't this seem incredibly fishy to you? Why is Triordur in Kum City, meeting a shady figure outside? King An's son, Unthan Fong, stands waiting with crossed arms, asking why the prince has come to this place. Could the Truck sect have discovered our secret plan? Trialdur looks back and sneers doubtful. Even if Truk Thien Quan knew, he would never send that useless Zhu Minglang. And Thanfong smiles coldly, asking if they should proceed with the plan and eliminate him too. Hearing this, Triordur lets out a cold snort. A newly converted dragon trainer is not worth my time, Triordur sneers, prompting Thanfong to look back and claim the target for himself. Chewing on his pastry, Zhu Minglang curiously asks Trukdung about the prince's arrival, and she reveals that Triordur is about to be crowned as a king soon. She holds up 2 fingers to emphasize. The coronation requires choosing a royal consort, and Sister Lair Thai Mok is nominated, making Zhu Minglang recall the traditional rules of the Kirk Ding Empire. Only those with king-level strength can qualify for coronation. Yet with Triordur's talent, this crown should have come much sooner, meaning the prince is likely hiding his true power. Trukdung curiously asks if Sister Lair Thai Mok stands a chance, prompting Zhu Minglang to lean back with his hands behind his head, noting there are other candidates. If it were me, I would look at the other families too, making Trukdung snap back that this is not like shopping for watermelons. Zhu Minglang calmly concludes that the royal family always plays politics, marrying to see what a powerhouse city like Kum City can offer the new young ruler. Suddenly, his entire body freezes up as a dark possibility crosses his mind. Clenching his fist, Zhu Minglang senses that something is terribly wrong. Looking around, Zhu Minglang analyzes the situation. If Triordur chooses Lair Thai Mok, this entire city will basically fall under his direct control. With Truk sect rising in the capital, the prince might be targeting their inner court, completely ruining Zhu Minglang's plans of returning to his wife in Lisuan. He frowns deeply, realizing his journey home will have to be put on hold for now. Noticing his silence, Trukdung asks her cousin why he looks so troubled, but Zhu Minglang quickly brushes it off as nothing. Turning to face her, Zhu Minglang asks, by the way, Trukdung, where is my little uncle? Trukdung slaps her forehead and cries out, oh no, Dad went to the imperial capital, I almost forgot. He told me to gather Windstar dandelions, but I haven't picked a single one yet. He looks confused and asks her, Windstar dandelions, what are those even for? She holds up a finger and explains, they can actually strengthen the forge's fire. Crushing the seeds unleashes a massive gale, helping our fire reach the perfect heat. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang smiles, asking, doesn't that mean we can forge gear of a much higher quality? Trukdung nods eagerly. Yes, absolutely. And it might even add wind sigils to create rare, unique attributes. He smiles, replying, perfect timing. I actually wanted to craft a set of ethereal holy armor for Thuong Dien Than Long. She grins and holds up a finger as she speaks. Then we definitely need wind sigils to help your dragon ride the wind much better. On long flights, it saves so much stamina, so you won't have to worry about your baby dragon getting tired. Zhu Minglang's eyes light up as he replies, we definitely need to get that. Immediately grabbing his arm, Trukdung begs him, then you have to help me harvest the Windstar dandelions, brother. Zhu Minglang rubs his nose, realizing she just wants free labor. A bit later, she stares at the floating flowers and shouts, these Windstar dandelions are too fast, they are impossible to catch. He looks confused and asks her, they are just dandelions though, can't you just reach out and grab them? Trukdung snarls back, oh yeah, then you try it. Now watch this. Zhu Minglang immediately reaches out to grab one, but gasps in shock as the flower suddenly sprouts a pair of wings and flies away. Absolutely wild. Staring in shock at the high-flying plant, Zhu Minglang looks up at it and commands, Thanh Trac, this one is on you. Think of it as a bit of training. The dragon instantly takes off, replying, no problem. Thanh Trac darts forward to chase the wild plant. But as Zhu Minglang watches the dragon claw at empty air, he gasps, is it really that hard? He watches the dandelion blink out of sight, yelling in shock, no way, it can teleport too? Thanh Trac immediately retaliates by blasting it with blue underworld flames. Seeing the dandelion shoot straight up into the air, Trukdung screams out, watch out! Suddenly, the dandelion detonates, unleashing a massive shockwave of wind energy. Zhu Minglang watches in horror as the blast descends directly toward them. Both of them quickly dive backward to escape the massive, violent wind blast, leaving Zhu Minglang sprawled flat on the ground. Trukdung covers her head, crying out, I forgot to warn you. When they get attacked, they shatter instantly and release a massive wind explosion. He stares at her, completely dumbfounded, yelling, why didn't you tell me sooner? She snaps back. How was I supposed to know you would be so reckless? Zhu Minglang sighs. Yeah, my bad. Touching his ear, Zhu Minglang quickly commands, Thanh Trac, hold back on the blue underworld flames. Let us keep our Dragon Lord temper in check for now. These little guys are your dinner tonight, and if you can't catch them, you are going hungry. The dragon immediately grunts back. Got it. Trukdung looks up at the sky and says, another dragon master spent all day and couldn't even catch one, but I know my brother can do it. He smiles, replying, don't worry, just watch what Thanh Trac can do. Watching the dragon soar gracefully through the sky, she says, your Than Long is pretty impressive, brother, especially with a wind sigil upgrade. I bet even outrunning a wild Dragon King level beast would be an absolute breeze. Zhu Minglang smiles and nods. Yeah. Thiensat snorts from within. Outrunning this Dragon King? In your dreams. Huinlin also pops its head out from his robe, squeaking happily. Zhu Minglang turns his head, asking, is there a spiritual vein nearby? Trukdung laughs in amazement. Whoa, brother, you can actually sense spiritual veins too? She points in a direction and says, exactly. Our Truckland's spiritual vein is just a short distance over that way. He smiles and suggests, since that is the case, we should check out the vein while leaving Thanh Trac here to harvest the dandelions. With a nod, Trukdung happily agrees. All right. Down at the windy canyon of the Truck Clan's spiritual vein, she points ahead. Brother, look over there. Violent winds constantly batter this gorge year-round, and the friction against these massive cliffs produces wind attribute spiritual eggstones. Pointing up at the canyon walls, she adds, we can harvest at least 1,000 of these spiritual stones every single year. You can't help but laugh here. Zhu Minglang almost tears up, realizing he wasted so much precious gold on resources when his family literally owned a massive spiritual vein. Sensing the dense spiritual energy radiating from the stones, Huinlin squeaks in excitement, pointing at them and shouting, I want to eat. Zhu Minglang quickly grabs the little beast, warning, this is our family's vein, so eat sparingly, okay? Got it? The little guy pouts. Yeah, I know. Trukdung points at a nearby crevice, adding, look at this crack, brother. There are even more spiritual stones up here. Basically, we can't get inside, and we can't risk destroying this place's structure, fearing the sentient wind won't blow here anymore, so we have to play dumb. Zhu Minglang looks over at him and says, isn't that just perfect? Huangling immediately flies toward the crack, quickly absorbing the spiritual energy while shouting it's time to feast. Suddenly, his eyes widen in complete shock. Huangling's face turns bright red as he shrieks in pure embarrassment. What should we do? I am stuck. Trukdung watches this and mutters just how much spiritual energy did this guy actually absorb. Zhu Minglang closes his eyes and says, well, who told you to overeat? He immediately stretches out his hand, suggesting why not pass the extra spiritual energy over to Heya. Huangling agrees with a huge smile on his face. Right after, Zhu Minglang starts draining the extra energy from him. That extra energy goes right to Heya. Feeling the massive surge, the dragon slowly opens his eyes. Pure spiritual power completely wraps around Heya, and his body rapidly expands several times over, reaching the mid-tier Dragon Lord level. Heya stares at his claws, utter shock. He leaps up, shouting with pure excitement, looks like I need to sleep way more from now on. Standing nearby, Zhu Minglang facepalms with a heavy sigh. How did I end up with such a stupid dragon? Finally, Huangling shrinks down just enough to squeeze through that narrow crack. Zhu Minglang scoops him up, turning to say, let's head back. We have no idea how Thanh Trac is doing. The two make their way back to that dandelion field. Trukdung runs over and finds a massive sack stuffed full of dandelions. He immediately looks up at Thanh Trac soaring high in the sky. The dragon spreads its wings, staring intensely at a single dandelion below. Instantly, that tiny flower floats up, straight into the air. Its eyes flash with light as Thanh Trac erupts in a blinding glow, and in a split second, he teleports right next to it, catching the dandelion in his mouth. Zhu Minglang is stunned, wondering if this is a new dragon skill. Combining this flash step teleport with Thanh Trac's other magic could yield completely insane results. He grabs the heavy sack of dandelions and shouts, Thanh Trac, time to head back. Zhu Minglang holds up a flower, asking if this is enough. Trukdung replies with a huge grin plenty. Hearing that, he laughs. Then let's head home. Zhu Minglang walks forward, thinking how wonderful it would be to just live peaceful days like this with Li Yunzi and the others. Her image flashes in his mind as he wonders how they are all doing right now. Later that night, Zhu Minglang sits alone, wondering, since Heya gained a whole new level today, should I take this chance to lock in his bloodline? Holding the vial of blood, he wonders what this evil dragon blood essence will shape Heya's bloodline into. Zhu Minglang raises his hand and calls out, come on out, Heya. The massive form of Heya suddenly materializes in the yard. Staring at the dragon blood being offered, he shouts, let me at it. Oh, watch this. A blinding purple glow erupts from Heya's eyes and rapidly spreads all over his massive body. As Heya stands tall, that brilliant purple light expands to cover the entire courtyard. Zhu Minglang gasps in shock. Seeing the purple energy shield wrapping around the whole building, he yells out a pupil domain. Instantly, a bat screeches and dives right at them. The giant bat slams hard, right against the barrier. Zhu Minglang looks outside, realizing that he might actually be able to tap into this dragon pupil domain himself. Just then, a voice calls out from outside, young master, we are coming in. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang immediately screams, stay back. Pushing his limits, he yells out and forces the purple barrier to vanish. Summoned back inside, Heya looks at his claws and boasts, I am totally invincible. Zhu Minglang recalls the dragon, thinking that while plants and flowers seem safe inside this pupil domain, any living thing would be burned to crisp. He pulls the door open with a tight smile. Sorry, just training my dragon. Did not expect company tonight. He shudders to think if they had taken just one step inside, the consequences would be absolutely unthinkable. Vung Qiu, the head of the outer court trade, bows respectfully. Young master, we apologize for intruding. I am Tru Kwuk, a steward of the inner court. Tru Kwuk? The inner court grand steward laughs. And this gentleman here is Vung Qiu, who runs our outer trading. Zhu Minglang looks at the two of them and asks, so, what brings you both here tonight? Raising a finger, he explains, young sect master, Vung Qiu here has always looked up to you. He even booked a grand banquet at Moon Pavilion, inviting the top courtesan of Kum Than to welcome you. Under the moonlight at the pavilion, Vung Qiu raises his glass. A toast to you. Upstage, the famous Luke Mok dances beautifully. Zhu Minglang looks at them and offers a warm smile. You two should drink up as well. Vung Qiu and Tru Kwuk share a quick look and nod. They both drop to their knees, stammering, young master, we had too much, we must go sober up. His face completely flushed. Zhu Minglang laughs. Sure, go ahead. Suddenly, Luke Mok sits on his lap, whispering, young master, am I beautiful? Zhu Minglang shrugs, you are decent. Her gaze turns sharp as she snaps, just decent? He glances at her, muttering, if that stringed instrument of yours was not pointed directly at me, I would have given a nicer review. With a quick lean back, Zhu Minglang cleanly dodges her sudden attack. His eyes instantly flare with a strange, glowing light as he locks his gaze on her. Lumu is frozen solid under his control and shrieks in shock. How did you know I was here to kill you? Resting his chin on one hand, Zhu Minglang replies that she is indeed pretty, though she might not believe it. Then, his eyes flash with a purple light. But forget about comparing you to my wife. Just walking down any main street in Cam City, you can easily find plenty of girls far more beautiful than you. If someone like you is the top courtesan, it is a complete insult to the beauty of all Cam City. Enveloped by that glowing purple light, she screams in agony. I refuse to yield. Zhu Minglang quickly stands up, wondering how a simple drink turned into an assassination. It seems Trukmon is completely compromised from within, making him wonder if it is one of them or everyone. Following him out, Truk Hoke remarks that young Master Truk is incredibly powerful, adding that the horrific shriek made him think someone had actually died. Standing beside him, Vong Qiu agrees, saying that courtesan had mesmerizing eyes, and if it were him, but Zhu Minglang suddenly stops him. He calmly asks them if they felt anything strange before they pushed open the door and entered. Hearing this, he quickly replies that the flames felt like a ghostly blaze, as if they had accidentally stepped through Hell's Gate. The other man chimes in, agreeing it was terrifying. Purple energy flares around his body as he turns to look at them, asking if they knew that was exactly how the courtesan met her end. So, do you want to experience that feeling? Cupping his hands, Truk Hoke stammers out a plea, asking the young master for mercy if his service fell short. Seeing Vong Qiu suddenly bolt, Zhu Minglang immediately barks out, trying to run. Gathering his spiritual energy, he summons his crow beast, Haknya, who instantly materializes and charges straight at the fleeing man, shrieking that it has arrived. Vong Qiu screams in sheer panic, but Haknya slams its massive talons down, pinning him to the dirt while screeching, where do you think you are going? Seeing Vong Qiu get taken down, Truk Hoak collapses backward in sheer terror, begging the young master to spare his life. He stammers that he knows absolutely nothing. Glaring down, Zhu Minglang coldly orders him to investigate, warning that this is his one and only chance to bring back some real answers. Otherwise, once I take this matter to the inner court elders, you know what comes next. You already know what kind of miserable end awaits you. Kowtowing instantly, the terrified man gasps out his thanks, promising to uncover the absolute truth within 3 days. Zhu Minglang calmly waves him off, telling him to get moving. Rubbing his chin in deep thought, Zhu Minglang calculates that his young uncle will return in 3 days, just in time to wait for the truth to clear up, so he can ask Uncle Vong Han about mastering forge temperatures. Time flies, and just like that, 3 days quickly pass by. Stepping inside, Truk Hoke bows respectfully to report that his investigation has finally turned up a key suspect. Looking over, Zhu Minglang asks if the culprit is Tru Don Kak. The man nods, confirming that just as the young master suspected, Tru Don Kak was indeed behind the hit. But wait, it gets crazier. His subordinate uncovered an even more critical figure. It is Anthan Fong, the son of Prince An. Zhu Minglang slowly raises his teacup in deep thought, realizing that Beast's son has also sneaked into Cam City. Truk Ho cautions him that Anthan Fong is currently protected by several top-tier experts. He admits he didn't dare investigate any further. Frowning, Zhu Minglang asks about Ma Qiu, prompting his subordinate to quickly explain the situation. As the butler of Mondin, he seems to have been planted as a mole inside Truk Monday. In fact, he was the one who suggested letting Vuong Q act as the guide last month. Stroking his chin, Zhu Minglang realizes Prince An is already targeting Truk Mon's inner court. Looking at him anxiously, Truk Hoke speaks up to ask, now that they have captured him, does the young master want to interrogate him personally? Turning his back, Zhu Minglang coldly dismisses it, telling him to just clean up the mess. Truk Hoke hesitantly looks back. The butler is easy to deal with, but the Zhao prince is another story. Standing tall, Zhu Minglang fires back that if he cannot handle it, he should beg the third gate master. Dropping straight to his knees, the man eagerly vows to handle everything perfectly. But Zhu Minglang dismisses his panic, telling him to just focus entirely on dealing with Trio Don Kak instead. As for Nthanfeng, he will handle him personally. Inside the pavilion, a boisterous man slaps Zhu Minglang on the shoulder, laughing at how tall he has grown. This is the third gate master, Truk Vong Han. Grinning widely, the master reminds him that he used to carry him as a baby. Smiling warmly, Zhu Minglang replies that he of course remembers, noting it has been far too long. Uncle Vong Han still looks as impressive as ever, but he gently wonders if his uncle has heard about the latest troubling news regarding their clan. Scratching his head, the master notes that massive clans always face trouble. Especially for us way out here in Camgate, but at least your father is still living a comfortable, happy life back in the Imperial City. If it were him, he would have gone completely insane by now. Hearing this, Truk Dung chimes in, suggesting they focus on forging the dragon armor instead. Nodding in agreement, Zhu Minglang says that is exactly what he wanted to consult his uncle about regarding the tempering process. Looking ahead, Vong Han explains that words alone cannot describe the process, inviting Zhu Minglang to join them on a trip to the fire-tempering secret domain. Smiling eagerly, Truk Dung asks her father if she can tag along with them. He frowns, asking if she finished the task he assigned her. In response, Truk Dung just holds up a heavy sack filled with dandelions. It is stuffed to the brim, obviously. Seeing the full sack, Vong Han smiles and says it is time for her to handle some of their clan inheritance matters. Grabbing Zhu Minglang's arm with a bright smile, she cheers that they can finally head off to the secret realm together. Footsteps echo. Inside the quiet inner court of the Truk Mon Hall, Zhu Minglang and Truk Dung follow the elders deep into the chamber. She turns to him and asks where big brother Truk Huok is, wondering why he's not around. Zhu Minglang simply explains that he sent him away on a much more important mission. Elder Veen of the inner court turns back to warn him that Truk Huok is an incredibly rare genius. As the future successor of the inner court, they should be grooming him properly. Running random errands for the young master is fine, but this secret realm trip is too important. Vong Han chuckles and cuts him off, stating that working for Zhu Minglang is actually a great honor for Truk Huok. Just treat this as a quick test. The elder quickly shuts his mouth and turns away. Zhu Minglang keeps his eyes locked on Elder Veen, his brow furrowed in deep suspicion. Look at this, Zhu Minglang and Vong Han are soaring over the sea on a massive black dragon. Crossing his arms, Zhu Minglang asks if there are other candidates to train besides Truk Huok. His uncle admits there are, but hints at some difficulties. Looking serious, Zhu Minglang urges his uncle to select someone else who has actual talent and virtue instead. Vong Han wonders in silence if Truk Huok has done something terrible to betray the Truk Mon. Looking ahead, Zhu Minglang asks his uncle about the secret realm, wondering why they retrieve fire out on the ocean. Is there some special flame refining going on here? Turning to him, Vong Han agrees. This fire is definitely no ordinary flame, and the hidden location where it resides is just as bizarre as you would expect. They have to make this journey to harvest the flame every once in a while. Zhu Minglang is pretty surprised, asking if this fire is actually located deep beneath these ocean waves. Putting his hands behind his back, Vong Han says no. He explains that it is actually located deep inside the earth veins below the ocean floor. Vong Han clasps his hands, thanking Elder Veen for his trouble. Gathering blue energy in his palm, the elder says the sect master is being far too polite. He immediately summons the massive Abyss Dragon King, which quickly begins stirring the ocean water into a swirling whirlpool. Elder Veen points ahead, explaining that this opening leads straight to the ocean floor, and urges everyone to follow him down. Standing on the black dragon, Zhu Minglang asks if they have reached the secret realm yet, and Vong Han answers that the ocean floor itself is their destination. Looking at the walls of water behind them, Zhu Minglang realizes the Abyss Dragon King is insanely strong to part the massive sea like this. Prepare yourself for this epic view. As the black dragon lands, Zhu Minglang gasps in complete disbelief at the massive glowing refining flames. Vong Han looks at the intense fire and nods in agreement. Exactly, we call it the earth vein fire liquid. Holding up a clay pot, Zhu Minglang asks if this is the vessel, and Vong Han asks if he wants to try. Stunned, Zhu Minglang asks if such an ordinary jar will actually work. Stepping closer to the lava, Vong Han begins to explain. This fire liquid is nothing like ordinary fire. As long as you do not shake it violently, it stays as stable and harmless as normal drinking water. Zhu Minglang is quite shocked, asking if it is really that magical. Varng Han calmly offers to demonstrate it for him first. Standing straight, Zhu Minglang politely thanks his uncle for the demonstration. Seeing his uncle suddenly drop to his knees and kowtow to the lava, Zhu Minglang looks completely stunned. Elder Vian turns to explain that a true gentleman must always act with proper respect. This is the core belief their clan has always lived by. Holding a candle toward the intense heat, Varng Han calls out loudly. The flame is incredibly stable this year, meaning they can harvest way more than usual, which is truly a blessing from the heavens. Watching this, Truk Dung asks in pure confusion why this supposedly powerful liquid fire cannot even manage to light a simple candle. Zhu Minglang turns to her, explaining that if he is guessing correctly, this fire works exactly like those Windstar dandelions. It remains completely harmless until it is disturbed, but the moment you shake it even slightly, it will release a massive burst of raw power. The fire splits into tiny streams, flowing smoothly into the jar. Standing up with the filled vessel, Varng Han confirms that Zhu Minglang is absolutely correct. For today, they are only taking this single jar back to run a few tests. If the energy gets too intense, it could easily burn through their raw materials or even explode the furnace. Staring at the lava, Zhu Minglang asks if today is just a trial run, rather than the official harvest. His uncle nods exactly. Once they check the stability back home, they will return. Suddenly, Varng Han looks up in shock at a dark shadow soaring high above them. The elder with the massive blade on his back speaks up, guessing it is a 30,000-year-old water beast and offering to drive it away. The man beside him agrees, saying they should probably clear out some of the ocean demon clans lurking nearby. Watching them fly up, Zhu Rong is startled and wonders if those three elders are really king level. Wang Xing explains that their Zhu sect is primarily known for blacksmithing, making it their core craft. Not many in the clan actually practice cultivation, but their legendary forging skills are quite enough to attract top-tier experts. As the elders make their move, he points out that although the powerful experts they serve might not be completely loyal, just having them guard the place and clear out obstacles for the Zhu sect already brings massive benefits. Wang Xing further explains that the leyline ruins also serve as nesting grounds for some incredibly powerful ancient beasts, which threatens the stability of the leyline lava. Because of that, we periodically come to wipe them out, making absolutely sure no overly powerful holy spirits get close. About half an hour later, the three martial artist elders make their return. They loudly announce to the sect leader that the surrounding beasts and holy spirits have been completely wiped out. He quickly cups his hands in gratitude, thanking them for their hard work, and suggests they head back since today's objective is already fully accomplished. The scene shifts to the inner courtyard of the Zhu sect, where Zhu Huo reports to Zhu Minglang that he has finally tracked down Zhao Ying's exact location. He respectfully adds that he plans to strike tonight to avenge his master and ease his anger. Zhu Minglang indifferently tells him to go ahead, but as he watches him leave, he thinks to himself Zhao Ying is no fool. So how could his movements be leaked this easily? Is there perhaps something off about Zhu Huo? Inside the Mountain Tea Villa, the courtyard is still lit up as two figures laugh and fool around loudly. A girl giggles playfully in Zhongnu's embrace, calling him a bad boy, when suddenly Zhu Huo lunges forward with his sword drawn. His sword energy slices clean right through the neck, but he instantly freezes. Yep, it's a trap. Zhongnu smirks coldly, calling them worthless pests, forcing Zhu Huo to quickly leap back and shout out in frustration. How dare you challenge me? He yells. But Zhongnu just sneers. What are you even worth? Then he suddenly vanishes in a flash. Zhao Ying appears right in front of him, throwing a devastating punch while yelling, "How dare a mere pest look down on me?" Zhu Huo immediately turns to flee, but the enemy stays hot on his heels, refusing to let him escape. He gets blasted mid-air, crashing straight down into the lake below. Zhongnu steps heavily on Zhu Huo, shouting at him to stop running, but Zhu Huo quickly ignites his explosives, warning him to stop looking down on people. Instantly, a massive explosion erupts, sending smoke billowing high into the air. Zhu Huo sits up and scrambles backward to escape the choking dust cloud. Through the dust, a woman smiles and says the Zhu sect sure has plenty of little tricks. She laughs, boasting that the iron puppet she controls is no pushover, leaving Zhu Huo to think in utter confusion. Wait, what did she just say? Is this Zhao Ying actually just a puppet, and is this woman some kind of doll maker? Meanwhile, the real Zhao Ying stands high above with his hands behind his back, ordering his men to charge and capture him alive. Instantly, a mob rushes through the smoke with weapons drawn. Looking down, he complains about only catching a low-level lackey, while Qingfeng standing beside him speaks up. Without knowing the full picture, that cunning brat Zhu Minglang would never take the risk of coming out here alone. He smirks, adding that since Zhu Huo is an heir being groomed in the inner courtyard, he's actually quite a significant target. The woman quickly leaps over to join them and pipes up. That Zhu Minglang is incredibly slippery, otherwise I would have easily killed him back at the Moon Pavilion. Zhao Ying tilts his chin up and sneers that this guy is worthless, and he won't even get a chance to enter the secret realm. Zhu Minglang must really look down on me, sending a piece of trash like this to handle my business. Hidden nearby, Zhu Minglang stands quietly with his head down. Holding his mask, he thinks to himself, I knew Zhao Ying had backup, and those puppets of hers are definitely hard to deal with. Zhu Minglang recalls the elders' meeting and starts reflecting. It's a good thing he used this plan to gather so much info, as he didn't expect Zhao Yinj to know about the Zhu sect's secret realm. Looks like there is definitely a mole among them. Who is it? Looking back at the surrounded Zhu Huo, he thinks to himself that he can finally clear his loyal subordinate of all suspicion. Zhu Minglang smiles slightly as he puts on his mask, deciding that it is time to let them taste the power of his Windstar Soulfire liquid. On the other side, Zhu Huo props himself up with his sword, cursing his failure to complete the task and falling into their trap. Gritting his teeth, he looks ahead, wondering if he will die here. Suddenly, Zhu Huo gasps and stares in shock at something nearby. It is the wind-style dandelion. A burning orb is violently thrown forward, creating a massive explosion that sends a heavy cloud of smoke billowing up to cover everything. Zhu Minglang grabs Zhu Huo's collar and pulls him away, shouting to run. He cries out in utter disbelief, young master. Zhu Minglang gently smiles and says, sorry for doubting you earlier. This wind spirit dandelion can carry us out of the massive fire, so do not move too much or you will fall off. Hearing this, Zhu Huo panics and shouts out, my lord. Zhao Yangge is looking at that fire and yelling, damn it, something massive has gone wrong. That woman also screams in agitation, my puppet. Meanwhile, An Qingfeng asks in shock, what on earth is happening? Staring at the massive explosion, Zhu Huo softly suggests, my lord, should we go back and kill them? He smiles slightly and adds, going back now is a perfect chance to kill Zhao Yang, and we can even eliminate An Qingfeng too. Hearing that, Zhu Minglang warns, do not go. Zhao Yu is nearby, let us move. Zhu Huo asks in confusion, my lord? Then he gasps, staring wide-eyed in that direction. Look at that, the sacred poison dragon bursts straight out of the flames. In absolute panic, he thinks, I cannot believe that is a dragon king. How dangerous. If my lord had not stopped me in time, I would have died in an instant. Back at Zhu Gate's little inner court, an excited voice rings out, what? Is there a traitor among the central figures of the inner court? Frowning, Zhu Minglang confirms yes. Wang Xiao and the steward are just small fry. The real Zhu Gate traitor is one of the 8 who went to the secret realm this time. Thinking of Zhao Yang, he scratches his head and adds, unfortunately, there is no proof, and I do not know how to explain this to Uncle Wang Xing. Zhu Huo nods. His expression is dead serious. Clasping his hands, he immediately reports, while I was investigating the steward, I uncovered a few things. Knowing my lord wanted to get rid of Zhao Yang, I did not dig deeper. But if my lord trusts me, please let me handle this matter. Zhu Minglang replies, but you are still injured right now. Zhu Huo immediately beats his chest and vows, this is a major issue. I must protect the secret of the Earth Meridian. Otherwise, the Zhu Gate inner court will lose its standing in Yihai. Hearing this, he finally agrees. Very well, I will stay in the light, while you work in the shadows. That way it will be much easier to root out the traitor. Just then, an eagle flaps its wings and flies down from above. Zhu Huo raises his arm for it to land. Smiling, my lord, I have completed the task you assigned. He then holds up 2 fingers. For this assassination of Zhao Yang, I prepared 2 plans, so even if I failed, my sworn brother will strike. He will wait until Zhao Yang lets his guard down. Rubbing his chin, Zhu Minglang thoughtfully says, I see. So you were just a distraction, and your sworn brother is the actual assassin who gets the job done. He immediately drops to one knee and clasps his hands. Yes, my original plan was to test the waters first. In truth, I did not know if there was trouble brewing in the tea house, but if I did not strike, the enemy would never show themselves. I was fully prepared to die, but thankfully my lord saved my life. Turning back towards Zhu Huo, Zhu Minglang asks him, is Zhao Yang still alive? He bows respectfully and replies he is still breathing. I will take you to see him right now. Inside a towering lighthouse on top of a steep cliff, Wu Peng tightly hugs Zhu Huo and asks, how are you holding up? Grinning, he replies, my lord saved me, so I am completely fine. Zhu Huo then points to Wu Peng and introduces my lord. This is my sworn brother. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang calmly smiles. Since we are all brothers, I will not stand on ceremony. Looking down at the bound Zhao Yang, he asks Wu Peng, how did you manage to catch him? Wu Peng starts wildly gesturing with his hands and feet to explain the story. Zhu Huo claps his hands in excitement and exclaims, so that is how it happened. You are truly amazing. Would you believe it? Even Zhu Minglang is stunned, realizing he acted like a food delivery guy. Turning to him, Zhu Huo speaks. My lord, this is his plan. Wu Peng predicted that after Zhao Yang got burned, he would seek medical treatment, so he set an ambush at the most famous clinic in Qin City. He caught him off guard, knocked him out cold, and brought him here. If he had not played it safe, he could have even captured An Qingfeng too. Zhu Minglang immediately gives a thumbs up and praises him. You did an incredible job. You deserve a massive reward for this. Then his face darkens. He turns around and commands now it is time for his punishment. Splash some water to wake him up. His limbs are all prosthetic, so throw it right on them. In the next second, a bucket of freezing water is splashed directly in Zhao Yang's face. Instantly snapping awake, he panics and screams, "Who are you? How dare you kidnap me? Do you even know who I am? I am Zhao Yang. I am the Imperial Prince. Let me go." Just then, Zhu Minglang's voice echoes, catching his attention. "Zhao Yang, this is not the Imperial capital, and you have no get-out-of-jail-free card here." Stuttering, Zhao Yang shouts, "Zhu Minglang, what do you want? Are you trying to assassinate Imperial royalty? That is a heinous crime." Crossing his arms, Zhu Minglang calmly replies, "It is not like this is my first time. You should save those words for the King of Hell." Turning pale with terror, Zhao Yang screams out, "Zhu Minglang, the grudge between us ended long ago. I am just a follower. Who is the one actually trying to harm you? You already know the truth, so there is no need to wipe me out completely like this." Holding up a glass vial, Zhu Minglang says, "I will give you one last chance. Is there an insider among our inner court elders? If you do not lay in with wide eyes, I will make you taste acid." Zhao Yin roared, glaring with wide eyes. "I do not know. I really do not know. That person only contacted Zhao Yu, and even An Qingfeng does not know who he is." Hearing that, Zhu Huo calmly spoke up, "Young master, it is late and getting a bit cold, so why not make this little prince charcoal for the Wupeng stove?" He immediately wept in despair, begging, "Please do not. I really do not know. Before the grand plan is settled, that person will not show up. Please spare me." With a dark face, he muttered, "Since that is the case, you are useless now." Zhao Yin cried out in panic, "Do not. You promised to spare my life." Zhu Minglang, "Look at that." Dozens of glowing red eyes emerged from the water, staring intently in this direction. Suspended in midair, Zhao Yin screamed, "You will not die in peace. Zhu Minglang, you cannot die in peace." Zhu Minglang shielded his eyes and looked in that direction, and asked, "On the day we went to the secret realm, I found no landmarks at sea, leaving no way to pinpoint its location. How do you guys usually find the secret realm?" Hearing this, Zhu Huo cried out, "I am not sure about that either. In the entire inner court, only the sect master and the 4 elders can determine the realm's exact location." Hearing that, Zhu Minglang immediately turned around to ask, "In other words, does it not mean that if just one of the 4 elders turns traitor, they could lead outsiders inside?" He smiled and denied it. "Not quite. The 4 elders only know a fraction." Zhu Minglang asked in confusion, "What do you mean?" Zhu Huo's voice drifted over, explaining, "I do not know the details, but if there is a map, each of the elders holds 1/4, meaning unless every single one of them turns traitor, no one else can ever locate the secret realm." Zhu Minglang asked with concern, "If that is the case, can we postpone the fire collection ceremony?"